What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Teach Henley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Teach Henley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people, and I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now, and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Teach Henley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Teach Henley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up to my friends and family? What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, yes. I got a couple announcements to make for those of you that's just tapping in. I dropped a Patreon video today, and it's a very, very important video, and you need to watch the whole thing, at least up and through the 11, 12-minute mark. It's a fairly decent size vlog video, but I go through the importance of being able to leverage certain assets to network effectively and then put yourself in a better position financially. So the vlog is entertaining in itself, and it's a lot of cars, it's a lot of stuff going on. I take you with me throughout the days and stuff like that, but it's also important for you to take the lessons in it that I dropped inside of it. So as promised, dropped the vlog yesterday. And then after, enough people get through that, I'm going to drop the actual link for the upcoming Patreon. AD, is that Kuntas really as wide as people say it is? It is, bro. It is. It is a completely inconvenient. He's talking about a car that's inside of the Patreon. It is a completely inconvenient video, but it is an incredible video. Incredible car. It's an inconvenient car, but it's an incredible car. Would I buy it to like drive it every day? Absolutely not. But I would just buy it just for nostalgic reasons. But it's an awesome car. I can't even imagine. Thank you. I appreciate you, Crown. I can't even imagine how much it would cost you to buy that type of car. You know what I'm saying? It was just really dope. Shout out to Joe. Yo mama said good show last night, AD. What up? What up? What up? If you are a bag chaser, if you are a Patreon member, go and watch that video. It is important for you to do so. It is a very, very dope video. I got a full show lined up for y'all today. Locked in, man. Locked in, super locked in. So shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Shout out to everybody that's tuned into the Millionaire Morning Show. Shout out to, he said last night was funny. You know what's so funny? I don't even be remembering some of the stuff that be happening because as soon as I wake up, it's like I'm on go mode. As soon as I wake up, I'm in go mode. And I'm just up to the next thing, on to the next one, on to the next opportunity. So shout out to y'all. Yes, go. If you're not a part of the Bag Chasers, if you're not a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I had a few announcements. I know we got Relationship Wednesdays tonight. Relationship Wednesdays tonight. Patreon video dropped this morning. Something else specific that I wanted to say. I don't remember what that is. I don't even remember what it is. But I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out from there. It's the Grand Prix in Detroit this weekend. Last night, those shows do be funny. They do be hilarious. Telling Elder Slim he warmed your feet was wild. Oh man, it's so stupid. Got a lot of things that we want to go over today. We're gonna get into it. Hey, Dunn, you should have found it to be hilarious too. Let me see what else is going on. Patreon live stream. Shout out to Julian Ray. Shout out to Julian Ray. I appreciate you, Julian Ray. You holding me down. You sent the donation on PayPal. I appreciate my PayPal people in the building. I want to say shout out to Mike That Dude. Thank you, Mike That Dude, for holding me down. Also want to give a shout out to my dog, Spencer Campbell. Spencer Campbell, I appreciate you. John Teal says just showing some love. Shout out to John Teal. And thank you to everybody that's holding me down and continuing to contribute into the platform. I'm still, of all of the different awards and all of the things that I've been able to accomplish over my time on YouTube and, getting into all of that, I will tell you that surpassing 1 billion views is probably one of the most impactful. I'm not going to say it's the best one, but surpassing 1 billion views is pretty crazy to think about it. 1 billion. Like that's crazy. 1 billion views. When I seen that yesterday, I was just like, bro, that's insane. It's absolutely insane. So shout out to Coach Chris. Coach Chris says, AD, where's the line and being confident enough to know you're right and being humble enough to be coached and take advice? I don't know why y'all so obsessed with humility. Like, humility is natural. Humility is natural when you're interacting with people that can offer value. And the value that they offer doesn't necessarily have to be, oh, they are more successful than me, so I can only listen to them. I listen to people that can add value into I have spiritual people that I refer to, that I lean into, that I know has dedicated themselves to the word. I have people that work with me and work for me that have an incredible amount of insight in what they do. I have a lot of people that I lean to that, you humble yourself for the information. When it comes to humbling yourself for the world, I don't care what the world thinks. You know what I'm saying? So my confidence in knowing that I'm right is because I put my 10,000 hours in. Like, I was just talking to y'all about surpassing 1 billion views, right? 1 billion views, right? Of course, I would take advice from somebody that has also achieved over 1 billion views, but I'm pretty sure I know what I'm doing when it comes to YouTube and content creation. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for example, I ran into, what's her name? Was it Super Scent? I didn't run into her. We was doing some recordings together. So I was talking to Super Scent, and Super Scent was giving me some insight on how she was able to monetize other platforms and get a bag from it. Now, I know that I'm incredibly successful on YouTube, but to say that she's not equally impressive and that she's not successful in her own right, why wouldn't I listen to what she got to say? You know what I'm saying? Like, everything don't have to be a comparison. When you get into certain rooms, honestly, and you are a valuable person and you get around other valuable people, there won't be any ego inside of the room. It's just, that's what true networking is. That's what true networking is. True networking is you've already got value and you're now surrounded with other people. That's why y'all have to watch the video that I just dropped in the Patreon. You got to go watch that video. I just dropped it literally probably less than an hour ago. So after this live stream, go and watch it. Y'all got to watch it. And for those of y'all that did watch it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But when you are a valuable person and you interact with other valuable people, that's what true networking is. There is no ego in that situation. The only people that are trying to humble you are people that are not where you are or people that don't have any value to add to the group. I've never seen somebody that was doing better than me try to humble me, or somebody that was in the same space or on the same level as me try to humble me. Usually people that try to humble you, and this goes for relationships also, people that try to humble you are usually people that feel inferior or they feel threatened by your presence. Think about it. Guys try to humble women. Women try to humble guys inside of relationships. Let's say you with a girl and you know that she way out of your league, but you just so happen to get with her. And it's not a moment. You know what I'm saying? It's a relationship, but you know that she's probably not going to be there for long because you ain't got nothing to offer her. And a lot of those type of situations, a guy will become a lot more verbally aggressive, a lot more less receptive. They're not a generous situation. It's not a generous situation. It's a lot of jealousy that goes on inside of that. And so if y'all were in a great space and the confidence was there and the security was there and you know you him, then you're not going to try to humble her. You see what I'm saying? If you are in a great space financially, you're not trying to humble somebody else. People that always say stuff like God can take it away from you, they never rich. They're never rich. People that say stuff like you better be humble or man, what you doing for the community? They never got nothing. They never have anything. They never did anything. They don't have a relevance in the culture. They don't have a voice. Most of the time they don't even have a picture, or they piggybacking off of you. And the only way that they can make money is to mention your name. They never have no motion whatsoever. People that try to humble other people on a regular basis, especially when you're talking about in regular life, usually they have an inferiority complex. They have an inferior lifestyle, or they're looking up to you and they wish that they can have what you have, but they're unwilling to put in the work to get there. So they don't look at what you got going on as a motivational purposes type of thing. They look at what you got going on as, man, I don't like him. I'm not sure that there's a rich person that I don't like, because either I don't care enough, or because I'm so focused on what I got going on, or that's the people's, and so I can tap into them whenever it is that I want to tap into them. So now when you get to a certain level, you have to learn how to disconnect yourself from the people that are on the lower level mentality wise, right? Because it's not that you got more money than them. It's more or less about your mentality that translated into it. And that's why rich people only hang with rich people, because then they ain't got to worry about being humbled or trying to down themselves or trying to reduce themselves to a certain thing. That's why you got to get some money. That's why you got to be successful. That's why you got to change your lifestyle. Changing your lifestyle will change your circle. Changing your circle will change your mentality. Changing your mentality will then lead you to better opportunities, and better opportunities will then lead you to be able to give back to your community. That's a fact, Wesley Turner. That's why everybody hates billionaires. Never met them before. Don't know their strategy. Don't know what their payroll is. Don't know how much they pay in taxes. But they villainize them because they don't have what they have. So then people like me will say, wait a minute, why are you trying to take what they got going on? They didn't build themselves. And then somebody else in their audience that's broke as hell will say, see, man, that's why you endure yourselves to billionaires, bro. And it's like, why you supporting them? And it's like, what? Like, you'll not understand it of why but you'll never understand jealousy. Listen to what I'm saying. You'll never understand a jealous person that has a jealous heart, that has a negative disposition, that can't get there. You will never understand jealousy. A jealous heart is a black heart. You'll never get it. And y'all keep trying to acquiesce over to it. I told somebody the other day, because they was like, yo, these people ain't happy for me. They're not happy with my success. I tried to share this with my family and this and that and so on and so forth. And I said, I've been telling you for years that they not checking for you. They gonna come over and enjoy what you got, but they gonna negatively talk about you, and you gonna feel like you gotta endear yourself to them just because they're your blood, but you don't realize that they plotting on your downfall. Some of y'all don't even know that you're sleeping with the enemy. The very person that you love the most right now, if you get to a certain level, if you get to a certain space in life, they will become the worst thing ever to come into your life. And the only reason why they love you now is because they love you where you at, not based off of where you going. And so you got to prepare yourself. You got to gird yourself up. Girding yourself up is preparing yourself for disappointment. Disappointment is going to be the biggest thing that comes into your life once you get to a certain level financially. And you don't see it yet because everybody is going to endear. Oh, baby, I love you. Oh, girl, I love you. Oh, baby, I love you. Boy, I love you. Oh, man, you the greatest family member ever. Get to a certain level and see how that change. Appreciation will turn into a resentment because they're going to feel like, why not me? Because first, it's going to be a level to it. The first level is going to be, oh, man, why you ain't doing more for me? Or why you ain't putting me on? The second level is going to be, I could do what you do. Why not me? Now, they can't do what you do, but the level of resentment that comes along with it is apparent. The humbling part for them, which they will never admit, is that they're going to try to do what you do. And they may even get a little bit of emotion, but they'll never even come close to anything that you got going on. So then hate turns into resentment. Resentment turns into bitterness. Bitterness turns into obsession. And next thing you know, the only thing that they can talk about is you. And don't nobody even want to talk about them without you. I call this the Dame Dash disease, the DDD. People want to see you successful as long as you are successful with them or you don't get to a certain level. If it goes beyond that, it becomes jealousy, resentment, and obsession. I'm telling you. That's why I tell guys all the time, date for where you going, not for where you at. You dealing with a woman right now that's not prepared for where you going. I tell women all the time, be the thing that you looking to attract, because right now you with people that's going to resent you when you get to a certain level. Look at how many people hate Floyd right now. Let's go into Floyd. Let's talk about Floyd. Shout out to Coach Chris. I appreciate you. Billy Ray, this is my girlfriend. I'm telling you, if I ever see you in person, I don't know if you got a man or not, but if you don't have a man, because I don't want to be disrespectful to your whole situation. If you don't have a man and I ever see you in person, I'm going to take you out. If you don't have a man and I ever see you in person, I'm going to take you out. Coach Chris says, what are some commonalities that successful people share? Appreciate you as always. I already said it. They just have a different type of mentality. They all got different businesses. They all got different, at different points in their life. But if you ever get successful and you start being around other people that are successful, you'll realize that those are the people that actually want you to be more successful. Bitcoin Brown says, billion views is big work. AD shot you a call, but need to grab some time in the schedule to update things on the site and speak on a new development, boss. Okay. All right. That's what's up. Can I get over to the White House, Roy? I haven't seen it yet, but what's the tickets to get to the White House? Let's talk about Floyd real quick. Let me tell you why people show you some things. We're gonna navigate through a lot of different things right now. All right. I seen Shannon Sharp a few days ago, and Ocho did a live stream about Floyd's finances. See if I can get that up real quick. What's up, Just a Brown Girl in America? This is a sweet. She smelled better than anybody that I've never seen in my entire life. We need that New Jersey meetup. Just a Brown Girl in America. Man, listen. That girl almost got me with the smell alone. And she had that skinny waist. I said, man, y'all better get Just a Brown Girl in America from around me because she about to take me out. She about to, what the girls say, take me through there. I think that women are the most beautiful things on earth. Women are the most beautiful, awesome creatures ever. 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 Ever, ever, ever. Ever, ever, forever, ever. Say, get me away from these women. Real talk.
Oh, Ocho. But what happened, boy?
Floyd Mayweather says he reportedly got cleaned out to the tune of $175 million.
What?
Claiming a former close associate ran a year-long scheme that allegedly drained his bank accounts, hijacked real estate deals, pawned off his jewelry, and even made his private jet disappear.
Damn.
According to TMZ, Floyd says roughly $100 million worth of bling has handed over to a Miami jeweler for only $13 million in return. And he said a huge chunk of the collection is still sitting with the dealer. Floyd also says he unknowingly signed paperwork transferring ownership of his Gulfstream jet with a buyer section left blank, and says he still doesn't know where the aircraft money went. Floyd also reportedly has been ordered to pay more than $1 million in child support after a Nevada judge ruled the retired boxer fathered a 4-year-old girl born to a former dancer at his Las Vegas strip club. Floyd also faced a reported $7.3 million IRS lien. Ocho, with the lavish lifestyle that Floyd has built over the years, the jet, the entourage, nonstop spending, has he created a lifestyle that when he was making $200-400 million a year, he was able to enjoy? Has he created something that he can no longer keep up with?
Yeah, I think so, because if you think about Floyd obviously having to maintain the image of being Money Mayweather Joe, being at one point, being at Top's highest paid Forbes, top highest paid athlete at one point, the lifestyle that he did live, you understood once you stop fighting, once you retired, regardless of what investments you made, there are no investments in this world, I don't care who you are, Uncle Joe, that you can make that can still accumulate that type of revenue that the sport that you play can. It's not that many. You got to hit. You got to get in good and hit it when it's hot, and it happens very seldom. It happens very seldom. So I hate this. I hate this for you, my young bull, man. I hate this for my young bull, Floyd. Hopefully this situation gets rectified, especially when it comes to having people around you, having other people in control of your finances. That's a no-no, Joe. That's a no-no.
Man,
that is a big no-no, especially with the kind of cash
not
flow
no blank, though,
Floyd
having. You can't sign anything blank. Ocho, when they come to us and they try to get us to sign these blanks when it comes to our autograph. No, bro. Do you know how many jerseys that you can put these on? Do you know how many pictures you could? No, bro. I'm not signing no blanks.
Look,
I'm not gonna address the child situation. Whatever he and hopefully the co-parent get that worked out, get that resolved.
Listen, I'm gonna address multiple different things right now. First of all, let's talk about the child situation. The one thing that you'll never ever, and I know a lot of guys was looking at me crazy, but now you saying that I'm not so crazy because I'm always ahead of the curve. Vasectomy. Vasectomy. Let's go down the line and let's address this accordingly. After I had my daughter, because listen, there are procedures today that if I want to have another child, it could either be reversed or they can go in and get what they need if they need it. Vasectomy. Vasectomy will save your life. I see Saquon already saying, no. I cannot tell you how many guys I have got on a coaching call that were trying to tell me or ask me for advice on how they can convince a girl that they got pregnant, whether it be the girl that they was with or it's a girl that they was messing with. And they were saying, you know what, man, I got to convince her to get rid of it. I don't know what to do. Man. This is going to mess up in my life. This is going to slow me down. Somebody says you don't even have to do that. Just be freaking responsible. Okay. Do it your way. 5 says, as much as that makes sense, I can't do it, AD. Cool. Listen, everything that makes sense don't always translate into action. And then y'all be asking me for a coaching call later, telling me about how your baby mama is kicking you in the face or she taking you to child support court. Again, because I told y'all in the beginning of the show, you need to be paying attention to where you're going to be instead of paying attention to where you at. Y'all talking about your current circumstance and your current situation. You don't even know how successful you're going to be in the future. And you always going to have this one thing that drags you down because it's going to escalate based off of the income and the success that you have in the future. I don't know what's wrong with men. What is wrong with us? What is wrong with us? You can still, did you know that you can still have a kid even after you get a vasectomy? A lot of people don't even realize that. Go and do your research and talk to your doctors, talk to whoever it is that you want to talk to. What I'm trying to tell you is that men that are proactive and preventing themselves from being in this situation in the first place usually are the ones that turn out to be the most successful. See? Right after that, Five Brown says, yeah, that's true. Can't believe the bimbos I done gave my seed to in the past. Because think about it, y'all. Men, we're prisoners of the moment. It don't matter if he was dealing with a dancer at the club or if he was dealing with a chick that got 200 followers on Instagram that he met in the streets. The fact of the matter is this. You can be a prisoner of the moment. Bro, every time that I get boxed, I fall in love. All over again. In that moment. Now, the next day I may say, you know what? I don't know if I really care anymore about this or whatever. Every time I get boxed, I fall in love. I'm in love to the core. I say stuff that I don't even know that I said. I promise things that I don't even know that I promise. We're prisoners of the moment. Why wouldn't you be responsible? Now, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what I did. So there is nobody in the world. I wish your chick would ever lie. Because I know I ain't never slept with you, and then you're gonna sit there and lie and say that I got a kid. You lie. I take that test all day long. I'm gonna get an A every time. Never got a 4.0 in my life, but I'm definitely gonna get a perfect score when it comes to that paternity test. Am I talking the truth, Atreya? Am I talking the truth? I'm gonna get it. You can't never say that I got you pregnant. You a lie. Prove it. Prove it. You're gonna be just like Kane on Menace to Society. I had the Jimmy on extra tight. But we're gonna break down all of this really quickly.
That ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't really care. I don't really care about that. Hopefully, whatever needs to be done will get done.
Damn.
But first of all, before I get to second, third, Ocho.
Yeah, talk to me.
$100 million in jewelry.
Damn.
Ocho.
Yeah.
$100 million in jewelry, Ocho.
But hey, Uncle, it's Money Mayweather, Unc. It's Money Mayweather. He had an image to uphold.
100 million, bro.
But Joe, you talking to the cheapest athlete of all time. You ain't got to say it. You ain't got to say it to me. It ain't something I would do. You know how I move when I played, Unc. Joe, you know how I moved when I played, and I always talked about it publicly to let you know it ain't no point. The value is not the accessories that you're wearing. You already.
Ocho said you got to hit it while it's good, and then nothing that you do afterwards will translate into you actually be making as much money as you did when you were at the top, at the height of your success. Now, that may be true for athletes, but that's not true for everybody else. I will tell you that, look at Magic Johnson. At the time that Magic Johnson, let's remove all of the HIV talk for a minute because I know I was going in on Magic Johnson, right? Magic Johnson has become a billionaire, and I'm not sure that Magic Johnson ever made more than $1 million or maybe $5 million per year in his career. And he's richer than every athlete that's making 50 million, 40 million, $30 million a year. You know why? Because you have to live off of 5 to 10%. All it is discipline. Live off 5 to 10% of if you making $1 million a year. Hear what I'm saying, y'all. All right. If you make $1 million a year, to live off of 10%, 10%, you could do whatever you want to do. That you could do whatever you want to do. That's roughly what, $9,500 a month. $9,500 a month. You could do whatever you want to do. Now remember, that's annually. $9,500 a month, you can do whatever you want to do. That's spending money. That's blow money. I could go trick it off. I can go shopping. I could do whatever I want to do. That's more than enough once your expenses are covered just to do what you want to do. The other, let's just say 80%, because let's say you take 10% to pay your bills or whatever it is that your lifestyle is, right? The other 80% is supposed to be for investments. Somebody says, AD, you got to come down just a little bit. No, because I'm talking about people that are rich. We're talking about Floyd here. Now, you're talking about a guy that made tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in a year. What is it that I can buy? That's what I'm saying. What is it that I can buy with 10 million that I can't buy with 100 million? As far as lifestyle is concerned. Ain't a woman, ain't a car, ain't a nothing that I can't buy with 10 million. Listen, when you go out here in these streets, all right, I'm a really give y'all some game. When you go out into the streets, right? My 2 million and his 10 million look the same to a person that make $40,000 a year. If I make 2 million, right? And he make 10 million, it all look the same to that chick that's trying to figure out how it is that she gonna pay her bills tomorrow. Do you understand what I'm saying now? When rich is rich to everybody, to 99.9% of the population, rich is rich. You understand now? You get what I'm saying? If I go get $1,000 in ones and you go get $2,000 in ones, we both look like we throwing the same amount of money. It's the same as the dude that's throwing $500 in ones. You just got to leave faster than everybody else. Then you really gonna look like the baller because he's sticking around and you man, I don't care about this. You know what? I don't even want to be here that long. I just came here to get some lamb chops, have a good time, and I'm about, oh man, look at that. The longer you're there, the more they think you accessible anyway. But all jokes aside, I would advise people always said that I was crazy because it took me longer to buy my lamb because I bought it cash. And very rarely am I ever that liquid. The reason why I'm not really liquid, regardless of how much money that I have, is because every dollar that I have goes back into my investments, whether it's my stock portfolio, whether it's my businesses, or whether it's my real estate portfolio. I spend all of my money not on stuff. And so now you understand why people in the Bag Chasers and the Patreon actually is getting it. I don't have any debt. You can't take something from me that I don't owe for. Nobody, listen. Technically, because people will say, well, his rich is different than your rich. Well, technically, all of us is richer than Mayweather right now. Because he got to go fight his butt off at 40 plus to try to go and get back to zero, because the level of spending is exacerbated. His mistakes, a rich person's mistakes are magnified times 100. So you learn to ball off of what it is that you can stack, and you spend the rest of your money. My goal, right? Because I always look at things 10 years out, right? I talk to y'all inside of the Patreon about this. My goal, right, is to acquire enough assets to where it actually generates the same amount of revenue that it was generated if I had to work for it. It's one thing to get enough money to retire, and it's another thing to get enough money to live a certain lifestyle, right? So the goal is to acquire enough assets to where monthly is generating the type of revenue to maintain a lifestyle that you want to live. So what do you have to do? You have to invest heavily while you getting as much money as you getting, so that you can then do whatever you want to do for the rest of your life. That's the goal. But more importantly, I'm not kicking him while he's down. I see a lot of people that was wishing on his downfall. So many people was wishing on Floyd's downfall because they hated to see him ball. They hated to see him ball. They hated to see him win. They hated to see him this successful. They hated to see him this successful. And so eventually it all caught up with you. Because, and another thing, Floyd, and this is why I'm very careful about who I do business with, Floyd had a bunch of people around him that was hanger-ons that, you know, was stealing money from him, right? Trying to get everything from him. And that's why I keep my circle so small, so small.
Floyd Money Mayweather.
Right.
Your name is the value, not anything you could purchase, not anything you could drive. You got 2 hands and 2 feet, and just one of you. You need 1 car. 2, if that. Get your car in a truck.
Nah.
That's it. That's all you need.
I need 12. I like 12 cars. I need them all. Listen, I'm going to do what I want to do as long as I can afford it. And as long as I got my investments popping, I'm going to buy what I want to buy. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to spend on what I want to spend. I'm going to travel how I want to travel. Ocho, I understand him because he's talking about being cheap in order to maintain your status so that you never go broke. I'm talking about living in abundance for the rest of my life.
He had an image to maintain based on what he created and who he was.
Hey, so he only got 13 million out of that 100? Is that, did I hear that right?
Because
that's what the
he
report
said
said.
somebody else got the money.
Yeah. According
Somebody
to
else took the
TMZ,
jury.
Floyd says roughly $100 million worth of bling was handed over to a Miami jewelers, F, meaning more than one,
Yeah.
for only $13 million in return.
Fi always trying to humble me. AD, you don't need all them cars, nor do you need the Pistons tickets. Yes, I do, because I like going to the games and sitting courtside. That's my vice. I like sport. I like basketball. I like women. I like cars. And I like real estate. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. The difference is all of my stuff is paid for. And so why don't y'all want to live life, right? Like, if you work for it and you get to it and you're able to generate a lot of revenue and you're able to pay cash for it, why not? Why not? I sell 30 of my 41 tickets. That's true. But the 11 games that I want to go to, I go to the ones that I want to go to. I don't really understand what this humble thing is.
It says a huge chunk of the collection is still sitting with the jewelers, with the dealers.
I
got about 12 Rolexes. Should I only have one? Do y'all want me to sell them all? This is my favorite, the rose gold. Should I sell it? Because I got other Rolexes. I can only have one watch. Maybe we should only get one pair of pants while we at it too. I don't get it. Should I do all of my live streams from home and I don't really need the studio because I buy this based off of convenience? Like, where does it stop? Where do we dictate what the limits are for what we need?
I understand too, Joe. Diamonds. When you purchase diamonds, it's like cars. Once you walk out,
guess what? It's some people inside of the chat that likes more than one woman in their stable. Why y'all not telling them, hey, you only need one? Lifestyle is lifestyle. No. Let's have a conversation. Lifestyle is lifestyle. Why don't y'all only have one woman? You only need one. You can only have sex with one at a time. You can only insert one. Even if you got two right there, you can only have box from one at a time. Why don't you only have one woman? You only need one. Why you got more than one? You know why you got more than one? Because you like options. You like to, the same way that I go through and pick which Rolex I want to wear for the day. That's the woman that y'all go through and pick which woman you want to see for the night. Why don't you only have one? How come all of y'all not married? My addiction just so happened to be cars, but I pay for them in full. No. Since y'all want to try to limit what it is that I got going on, why can't I do the same thing for y'all? Because women cost money. To even go out and date them, to be around them, it costs money. I would make the argument that it's more expensive for you to have an additional chick than me to have an additional Rolex. At least mine hold its value. I will make the case that is much more enjoyable for me to see everybody dribbling and see my favorite basketball player than for you to see the same four girls. You slept with 41 girls. I went to 41 games. You had 41 girls that show up. You only decided that you wanted to keep 11 of them. I had 41 games for my season tickets. I decided that I only wanted to keep 11 of them. But you couldn't sell yours. I was able to sell mine and get a significant amount of money back. See, Guru talking about having one is like having none, AD. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Now we don't want to have a conversation. Okay, all right. Now we getting somewhere.
Jewelry store, you can't get back what you paid for it.
Well, if you bust it down, now if you got, let's just say for the sake of argument, Joe. Now the problem is diamonds are worth, everything is worth something.
Yeah.
The bank will lend you money as long as they know you don't need it. The bank, I go to the bank right now and get a loan. You know why? Because they know I don't need it.
Yeah.
Somebody go there that need a loan, they ain't gonna give them ish. That's how it works.
Yeah.
A bank is a great place to borrow money as long as you don't need it.
Yeah.
That's how people say, well, damn, how he get a loan? Because they know he had the money.
Mm-hmm.
You actually need it. You need it for a medical emergency. You need it for graduation. You need it for something. Man, you need it. Now you can't pay me back.
Yeah.
And see, that's the problem, Ocho. If I know you are in financial, I'm not giving you the value of what it's worth.
Right.
why you think pawn shops exist?
That's the truth. These are all facts.
Pawn shops don't give you the value, and they charge you 10-15% on your money.
Boy, sometimes more than that.
And then they give you X amount of days to bring your ass back and get it back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn, man.
I ain't telling you what somebody told you. I know how pawn shop operate because I know people that took stuff up there.
Yes, sir.
Nah, hey man, hey Sean, no, go and take it to the pawn shop because I already know you ain't gonna give me you ain't gonna give me my money back.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you ain't gonna want to.
That's a fact. It's the time that you need it the least that the banks is calling you regularly. I can't tell you every single time I go into a branch, the branch manager comes out and says, because I had some appointments, I canceled 3 different times. Branch manager comes out and says, Anton, we need to sit down and have a conversation to figure out what it is that you may need some money for. And I say, well, I do. And I tell them straight up, I say, well, I do everything cash, so I'm not sure that I need any money. Well, but what if you can do it faster or expand your portfolio quicker? We need to sit down and talk about it. Let's schedule some time on the books. They will go and find you. Banks, opportunities will find you. They will chase you down. When you are winning, and this is what it takes to be a winner, right? This is what winning is. Winning is opportunity chasing you down. Your biggest problem is going to try to figure out which ones you need to turn down. The discipline part is where it's going to start to hit you. Listen to me, bag chasers. Listen to me, Millionaire Morning Show participants. Everything can be equated to a relationship. Do you know when it's going to be the toughest time for you to go and find a chick? When you go and looking for a chick. When you set out at night and say, man, I'm about to go try to find me something. I'm going to go to the bar. I'm going to go and find a girl that I can take home tonight. You're going to come up empty, zero. If you got all the game, if you got all of the situationship, everything is when you're looking for it is when it's going to be harder to get. When you already got motion and you're not checking for it, every chick and their mama is going to be reaching out to you. Every person that you run into, it seems like they're going to be wanting to talk to you. And you just going to be living your life and you ain't thinking about it. You're going to be walking down the street. You getting in your car. You ain't even going to be driving your big boy car. You're going to be just chilling. And they just going to walk up to you. Hey, how are you doing? I met you before. You don't even remember me, do you? The key to success is to focus. That's why I tell people, focus on your purpose, focus on your hustle, focus on your grind. Stop focusing on the women because the women are going to swarm you. The opportunities, the loans, the banks, the people, the sponsorships. As long as you just winning and you focusing on winning, they're going to be like, hey, big head. Where you been at? Kimmy last night says, and I would have told her I was in the middle. I said, Kim, don't you know that put it times 10 if you tell a chick, oh man, I'm in a relationship. The more you're focused, your biggest problem in life is going to be rejecting temptation, walking away from deals. I cannot tell you how many gambling companies hit me up. All of them have been reaching out. All of them has been reaching out. And every time they up the offer, you know what? But we got this million, we got this many mil. Dog, you just put the logo up and then you put your code in the bottom. And we listen, guaranteed at least for a year and a half, we can get you a contract and this and this and that. And what do I say? Because it's easy to take the money, right? It's easy to say, man, listen, bro, they offering me $2 million. They offering me this. They offering me this for sponsorship. They paying attention to the views. And so now you see it on every single podcasts that are but a fraction of the views that we do. They be like, yeah, man, we got this new sponsorship, this and that, and this and that. And what do I tell them? No. And what do? They come back and they say, hey, but you know what? I know you told me no last time, but let me talk to you for again. Let me talk to you again for a second. And you just tell them no. Your biggest problem in life when you become successful is trying to keep your Holy Ghost. trying to keep. I'ma stay safe. Your biggest problem in life is going to try to get. Somebody said, "Look at Gil's arena now." Shout out to Gil. I actually talked to Gil. I talked to Gil. I'm going to be one of the rare people that don't even talk about Gil's situation because I talked to him personally and I really know what's going on. And so, shout out to Gil. I think he's going to figure it out. I think he got it together. But your biggest problem is going to be trying to stay safe. Listen to J. Cole had an interview with where he was talking about Diddy. And J. Cole said, was it J. Cole? No, it wasn't J. Cole. It was LaRussell. LaRussell did an interview where he said that he was talking to Diddy.
I went to Diddy crib a couple years back. He invited me to the house. And after I left, I text Charlamagne and Guy and I was like, Diddy need help. And I went on a long ass walk because it just like bothered me. And I was telling my daughter's mom, I'm like, man, it's like seeing a superhero with their cape off. Like he's sick and he don't have no one around him that care enough to help him because they all benefit from him being him. Like when you a Diddy, like when I first walked in, there was a nigga like, man, it was my dream to be an intern for Diddy. And I was like, yeah, he never gonna like tell him the truth, And we was in there and he had asked me, he wanted me to write for him. And he played me like a record. And he's like, what you think? And I was like, I don't love it. And the room was like, and I was like, I knew then, like, oh,
what kind of room
I asked him, I
in?
said, you don't hear that a lot, huh? But it's like everybody around him was complicit. No one wants to tell him the truth and be honest with him. And that's something that I felt and sensed while I was there. And I could just see, like, it was just a dis-ease and an energy in a space. Like, he wanted to be cool, but he just couldn't. Like, it's just like, when you living with all that on you. And we had a little moment, like, we was walking to the studio and it was just kind of me and him. And I was like, man, you've accomplished everything. What do you want? And he looked at me and he was like, man, I just want to be able to breathe.
That's deep. And so, of course, it's a lot of people that don't like Diddy. And so as a result, they're going to focus more on the villainization of him. But that, of all of the things that people would say, that's deep. That's deep. You got all of the women, all of the jewelry, all of the success. You've been winning for 3+ decades. And he says, man, you've got all of this. What do you want? And he said, I just want to be able to breathe. I want to rest. I can't breathe no more. I just want to rest. And everybody else is looking at it and saying, but you a millionaire, you a billionaire, you this and you that. You know what I'm saying? You could dance and you got the key to the city. And the whole time, the other person, they just feel pressure. And it wears on you and it tears on you. It's deep. It's deep. And when I tell you that, and I tell y'all this all the time, and y'all don't care because just give me the millions, just give me the money, just give me the millions, give me the millions. I'll figure out what to do with it. You gonna die.
And I was like, damn, like I felt that. Like I resonated with it because I've had moments in my journey where like that's how I felt. And I was just like, damn, like it fucked me up leaving because I'm like, he gonna crash it. Like I could feel it. You could feel when somebody just like not okay. And he didn't have nobody around him that, like I got niggas around me who would be like, bro, you wrong.
And here's the other part of it. I'm gonna tell y'all something else, bro. I think that Diddy going to prison is probably, I don't think he wanted to be there. I don't think he want to be there. I think he want to get out, but I think that his shoulders was finally came down and he probably was just like, I have no pressure right now. It's probably one of the first times that he done slept in a long time. Probably the first time him sitting down where he can get his mind together, where he can get his mind right, where he can get things together, and he can figure out what his next steps are. Probably saved his life. It probably saved his life to sit down for a couple years and chill. As long as he was out here on the streets, he was probably under pressure and he couldn't shake all of them demons that was still on his back from all of the people that was around him and from all of the opportunities that was presented to him. Somebody said, how I know about Kenton Jones? Because I listen to gospel music. I'm trying to tell you. He probably saved his own life because he's sitting down in jail. It's probably one of the biggest blessings ever. Probably no pressure at all. Zero pressure at all. Now he just chilling. And Floyd is under that same, now I ain't gonna say the same type of pressure because it's a different pressure than Diddy. But y'all don't know what these people be going through. Y'all worshiping them. Y'all want their lifestyle. Y'all want to be in the same space as them. You don't know what they have to do to get there. No clue. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications for all of the Bag Chasers Patreon members. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Dropped a new vlog today. It was awesome. Awesome. As soon as I found my camera, pulled the footage, got that up out there for y'all. Go and check out the new vlog. There's so many gems in it. You got to pay attention to it, all right? Eric Harris says, if this is true, I think Floyd should take that flight with Pacquiao. Take that fight with Pacquiao. Manny Plays PC says, S, if I had the money, I'd own 3 separate GTRs in different colors. Rashawn says, what you know about I'ma stay saved? That's my cut. It's my cut too. I like Kenton Jones is one of my favorite gospel artists. One of my favorite of all time. I got some Kenton Jones junk that put me in that mode, that spiritual mode, and it take me to a whole nother level, and I'm there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Sharp TV. I appreciate you, Sharp, with the 20 ball. Says, I appreciate your content, bro. God bless you and your family. God bless you too, man. God bless you also. Saturday Night Beater says, I blew 20K in a year. I get it. I blew 20K in a night. I blew 20K. Man, listen, bro. Y'all don't know what it feels like to blow 20K in a night. Make sure I hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me move over to Kevin Hart real quick. I wanted to expound on this whole situation with Kevin Hart. I don't know if you can really play the Breakfast Club interview like that. Hold on, give me a second. But we'll get there.
Yeah, the George Floyd joke, it wasn't a tasteful joke to our culture, to our audience.
I'll rewind this real quick. Let's get it from the beginning.
Yeah, the George Floyd joke, it wasn't a tasteful joke to our culture, to our audience, but our audience that's watching the roast, if you're watching the roast, you get why they're doing it. You get why the racial humor is on the table. Like, it's not, I wasn't shocked. Like, that's what they do. Go look at the Tom Brady one. Like, that's what they do. It happens every year when they do a roast. It's not new. This isn't it's not a new agenda. It's not a new approach to comedy.
Do you feel like Tony Hinchcliffe went too far when he made that joke about George Floyd?
It's Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yeah.
I don't expect less. I don't expect more.
I feel like you're saying going too far is the point. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yes, I mean that's why you're there.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say this, but I'm going to because we're being honest. People are talking about that joke. Talk about his set. Tony Hinchcliffe arguably had the best set or one of the best sets between Tony and Cheryl. And I would say Naeem had a really strong set.
Naeem had a very strong set. I was laughing out loud at Tony until that joke.
Until the joke.
But not even just that joke. I don't like when people joke about violent, tragic death. I liked Pete's set, and then I was like, why you had to say anything about Charlie Kirk?
Pete had a great set too. Pete had a Charlie Kirk joke in there.
Yeah.
Like, would I tell those jokes? No. But do I get why they're being told?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Like, I'm not looking at Pete crazy. I'm not looking at Tony crazy. Like, that's what I know what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I know your style of comedy.
Did you see the interview that I did with Terrence Floyd, George Floyd's brother?
No.
So he said
no shot to you.
No,
Okay.
that's look.
I'm never watching it.
That's fine.
I just want to be clear. I'm never watching that. Like,
I only brought it
like,
up.
even now that you told me, I'm not going to go back and go look at that interview.
Because he's a fan.
But I just want to make it clear so you understand what I do with my time. Like, I'm never doing that. Okay, go ahead.
I just asked because he's a fan of you.
Mm-hmm.
He saw the joke and it picked up pretty big. So I didn't know if you saw it, but he basically said, like, as a fan of you and knowing that you came to the funeral to support his family, even though it's a roast and Tony, that's what he does, they expected you to kind of be the person that would like stop it right in the moment or just not allow for certain things to happen.
And he also said he wanted you to come harder. He said if they're going to joke, why you ain't come harder with your own jokes?
All right.
Racist jokes, I guess.
This is actually a good thing to give a rebuttal to.
See, then
they talked about my dead mom and my dead dad. Said that they were running a train on my mom and
that was hilarious,
right?
It was
that was crazy. Yeah, that was Regina killed that.
Right?
Yeah, oh wait, that's right. You probably should say killed that.
The jokes about Kevin was on a slave ship in a bottle with like the ship in the bottle. Like, I'm going to appreciate humor. I don't get affected by the attempt of humor. I get it, right? In this case, like, do more. It's my production. We're live. The more is what? Like, what is it that you expect me? You want me to take a live production and stand up and fight Tony or have a reaction? Like, Tony told a joke. It wasn't a tasteful joke to us. We didn't like it. Okay. Hey man, fuck that joke. We move on. I don't understand.
I agree 1,000% with Kevin Hart. And again, I'm speaking about it, and let me preface this by saying that I'm speaking about it from a biased perspective, in that I like Kevin Hart. I think that he's made incredible decisions. I like his business acumen. I like his business sense. But what I'm trying to figure out is, why are people holding Kevin Hart accountable for something that he didn't even do? And I said it last night, and I'm going to say it today. Nobody got offended at anybody that told a joke about Kevin Hart with his dead mother and his dead father. Now, Kevin Hart said that I can take the joke, right? He said, I can take it, and it is what it is, and this is what it is that I signed up for, and so I'm on it. I'm on it. Now, you're expecting for him, think about this for a second. People are expecting for Kevin Hart to be more offended about the George Floyd joke than he is about his own parents. He's supposed to be more offended. It doesn't matter if it's foul or not. That's not even what that's not what we're discussing right now. We're talking about Kevin. What should his response be? People are expecting for him to be more offended at something else than about his own parents. What? Coach Chris says sometimes it's about more than you. I don't have no greater responsibility to you than I have to my own self, to my own parents, to my own family. What you mean? Y'all crazy. Y'all are bad ass crazy. For whatever reason, y'all think that somebody has a greater responsibility to you than they do to their own lives. How? I don't know if anybody has ever told y'all this before. Y'all not that important. Nobody is more important than your own circumstance and your own life. You don't even put more effort into stuff like that than you do your own family, but you got greater expectations for somebody else. Why? Because they famous? Get the beam out of your own eye. And again, let me say this for the people in the back. He didn't even say the joke. The roast was on him. He wasn't even the person that was the roaster. He was the person getting roasted. So now he has a response. I bet like they don't go and stop somebody else. What? Who is y'all? Who are you? Who are you? Y'all so offended. Listen. Last night, 3 people got killed in a city that I'll go over. We're going to bring that to the front of the congregation. Last night, 3 black people got killed by one other black person in a city, in a liberal city. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody is going to figure out how it is that they can march for it. Nobody is trying to figure out how they can find a killer. Nobody is holding anybody accountable for it. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's bigger. What's bigger? What's bigger? George Floyd is bigger than the program? Is he bigger than the people that got killed in your local community the other night? Listen, for all of you justice warriors, I would like for you to go into your own neighborhood and march for the people that are getting killed right now instead of focusing on something that you don't even know not of. Your own neighborhood is under siege and you ain't got nothing to say about it. You ain't got nothing to say about it. You ain't called the mayor. You don't even know your congressperson, but you sitting there trying to hold Kevin Hart accountable for something that he ain't got nothing to do with. Get out of here, bro. Get out of here, bro. I'm amazed. This fake outrage, and I'm so thankful that I've always been on this side of the fence. That way I don't have to pander to y'all and sit here and play games because y'all can't wait to get mad at somebody that used to pander to y'all. I'm so thankful that I'm my own entity and I say what I want to say when I want to say it because I don't have to worry about what anybody else think. Good, you already hate me. That means I can really get it in. It's all fake outrage. And the very ones that was at the forefront of the movement use it as a financial incentive so that they can get rich. A bunch of black lesbians with Black Lives Matters that ain't did nothing for the community since. When I started this live stream today, I set the precedence by a question that was asked to me to tell you how people are always going to hate you and chase you down because they want to humble you. People don't even have a reason to hate Kevin Hart. That's just the facts. Kevin Hart ain't never did nothing to nobody en masse. Kevin Hart is probably the safest comedian, big black. That sounds crazy. All right, we don't get that. I want to pause. That's what that pause is for Slimmy. Larger platformed black comedian. A larger platform black comedian, probably the safest. Probably the safest. Forget it. We might as well go ahead. He's probably the safest big black comedian that you that you can get. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Dennis the Menace? He's probably the safest comedian that you can get. BBC big black comedian. Oh man, he's probably the safest that you can get as far as a comedian is concerned. And people are seriously trying to get this fake outrage out, man. It's crazy. Oh my gosh.
And if you don't like it, don't support it. I'm a mega millionaire off telling jokes, and I'm not going to tell nobody else how to tell their jokes. He said, y'all got to grow up. And if you found it offensive, then you don't know comedy. It's not his job to police the people that he hired to entertain us. And if we weren't entertained, then that's our problem, because he's successful and he knows how to win. And he's been doing this for a long time. Excuse me. So who are we to tell him that the people that he hired can't tell those kinds of jokes? That's what he said. He said, yes, I went to George Floyd's funeral, but I'm never going to listen to an interview that you interview a person, even though you're interviewing me. I'll never watch your interview of you interviewing his brother. No, I'm not going to do it. That's not how I spend my time. He said that. He said he's a grown man and he's not going to let nobody tell him what to do, and he's not going to tell nobody else what to do. That's what he said. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what he said. Kevin Hart said, if you don't like it, you don't like it.
Black people can't wait to try to remove you. They can't wait. Thankfully for Kevin Hart, he's bigger than just the black community. He appeals to a demographic that's outside of just one certain type of person, even though he's one of the most supportive people. So many people have said, yo, he helped me. He ain't asked for nothing in return. All of this other stuff. People can't wait to try to figure out how they hate you anyway. So thankfully for him, he's bigger than the program and he's chilling and he's already a billionaire, they saying. So ain't nobody worried about it. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. And turn on your notifications. Let me see what y'all talking about inside of the chat. Wesley Turner says, black folks tell racial jokes all the time. Now we can dish it, but can't take it. We've been telling jokes about white folk forever. Sensitive. Amethyst Angel says, I miss George Carlin. If you know, you know. Don the Architect says, good morning, AD, celebrating 39 years on this earth today. Grateful for life, my family, my company, and the bag chasers truly best. Man, happy birthday, Don the Architect. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, big dog. We love you, we love you, we love you, man. Long way ENT says, 80, don't feel bad. You had the XJ900s, I had the stadiums. I had the stadiums too. So embarrassing. I was and I was the only child. Did you do something bad though, or did they just get them for you? Oh, look, more hate inside of the chat. Kevin Hart has always been a plant, a puppet, and Cat Williams for 25 years. I've known him. I've never seen him on drugs. The hate is always going to be there. It's always going to come. You're never going to satisfy anybody or everybody. And that's just going to be the way that it is. You're never going to satisfy everybody. You're always going to get some people that hate you. Crash Out of Cash Out says this is why rich people go Republican, because the hate comes from poor Dems. It's a fact. It's a whole fact. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's spin the block really quickly.
I met him. He got my number. I got his number. What do you mean you got your number? Yeah, he got my number. You can record me. I met him at the Plaza Olvera, the Mayor's Day. Because the corrupt Karen Bass came after me. I'm an activist. She sent her little goons after me, being unhoused.
Los Angeles doesn't have a homeless problem. We have a drug problem. The DEA will tell you that over 90% of the homeless population in LA are hardcore illicit drug users.
How many people are using illicit drugs in the homeless community? I would say it's incredibly high. 20%, 30%? Of the overall problem? Yeah. Over 90%.
Cartels are operating in the open, forcing addicts to traffic drugs and murdering them when they don't meet their quota. Dogs are being killed by meth heads, and fentanyl addicts test their drugs on these innocent animals. None of my opponents are living in this reality, and all they want is more taxpayer-funded housing. You cannot fix a drug problem with more housing.
Spencer Pratt is exactly right. If I would have the easiest job in the world if all I had to do to treat drug addiction was put people in four walls.
Right,
Put them
right.
inside and they're cured. Oh my God, we're done here. That is an insanity. And finally, somebody has the huevos to say it out loud.
You cannot fix LA's drug problem with street medical teams jamming Narcan up their noses and simply propping them up to overdose again and again and again until these poor souls inevitably die in the streets. But it's even worse than that. Currently, Mayor Bass and Nithya Raman are increasing the rampant drug use by using your tax dollars to hand out fentanyl needles, tourniquets, and crack pipes to addicts throughout the city.
Actually, the city paying for people to drive around, hand out needles and pipes and other things to use drugs.
By doing this, they are killing 6 to 7 people every day in the streets, in full public view of you and your children, and they pretend they're the compassionate ones.
Spencer Pratt, honestly, I hate to say it, but I think that he's running a dangerous campaign. He's running a very dangerous campaign, and I say that his campaign might get him canceled. You know what I mean by saying it might get him canceled. Spencer Pratt, it's too much truth in that, big dog. It's too much truth. With him going on the streets and showing how dirty the streets are by spraying the streets down with his ad, it don't even cost no money to do that. Imagine if the streets were this clean. Spencer Pratt for mayor of LA. That don't even cost no money. You don't even have to run no ads in order to do that. You don't even have to run ads to do this. Whoever it is that is coming up with these ideas, whoever it is that's running his ads, whoever it is that's resonating with the people, they are doing an incredible job, an incredible job. And the fact that he just addressed this so directly and he said, listen, it's not even about homelessness. He said it's not about homelessness. He said it's about money. Billions of, listen, this could not be any further from the truth. There is a whole underground economy to where it all funnels back up to the top of politicians' pockets, business people's pockets, the cartels' pockets, drug lords' pockets, and they're all working together. And the only people that are suffering as a result of it is taxpayers, because y'all are the ones that are funding it. Y'all are the ones. Listen, think about it like this. What did they say? They spent like $30 billion to solve for homelessness in California. Isn't that what Gavin Newsom said? If you went and you audited that money, I wonder how much of it, first of all, that you can actually say because you can always put a blanket statement out and say, yep, I spent X amount of dollars on homelessness. What does that mean? Drug needles, Narcan, police officers, housing, people driving around in white vans, Meals on Wheels. What does that look like? $24 billion? Do you know how much money that is? You know how much money 24 billion? I tithe to the streets, right? Meaning that I go out there and every month or every 2 weeks, I try to give out a minimum of $5,000 and I try to max it out at about $10,000 every single month. And I give it out to the streets, right? And I might even have to modify how I go about doing that. But I know that there are people out there, especially when it's cold outside, that need money to get through whatever it is that they got to get through, right? And I'm saying this for a reason. To spend $24 billion on eradicating homelessness and don't have any results or accounting for it is insane. And it's funded by Californians and taxpayers. It's all one big scheme. Who you think got that money? Because it ain't no homeless people that got that money. It's all one big scheme. Everybody getting rich on the backs of a drug problem. Do you think that they want to solve a drug problem when they need a problem in order to continue to run up a bag? Why would I want to solve a problem that's keeping us rich? Not a price to pay for that. Only God knows. You're going to have to answer for that at Judgment Day, right? Because how many people died as a result of you lying to the taxpayers and doing so? How many people have to die for that? But you're telling me that they can't solve for the drug problem that's running into Los Angeles and in California? And so when Spencer Pratt say this type of stuff, and he said, listen, it ain't no homeless problem in Los Angeles, it's a drug problem. Because see, we all want to put it on the backs of the president, both Biden and Trump. And they wanted to say, oh man, it's the drugs that's coming over. What do you mean? So we got all of these layers, right? You got to get it over the border. You got to get it through the water. You got to then get it over to the drug dealers, and then they got to do the deal. Then they got to chop it down, and then they got to distribute it. And then when they distribute it, they got the blues, they got the reds, they got the yellows, they got the purples that's hitting the street. Then they got to go get the Fenty. Because first you got to get the drugs pure, then you got to get the Fenty, and you got to chop it down. And you got this whole network of people that's moving this work all throughout the entire state, right? And everybody know where the drugs are. You know where to cop the drugs. You know where to get the drugs. You know who's selling the drugs. You know who on the payroll. You know the police officers that overlook it. All of it is right there, right? It's all right there in front of our faces. And then you got the judges who is soft on crime. And then you got the police officers, and then you got the mayor, and then you got the governor. And then they say, hey, we need more taxpayer dollars in order to solve for homelessness. It's all a broken system. The way Spencer Campbell is talking, the entire state of California would collapse if they was to actually start to solve for these type of problems. And I don't think that anybody wants to see him become mayor. The powers that be, right? Because we like to simplify it down to, oh man, Democrat versus Republican. No, this is a fraud problem. This is a drug problem. The real system, because we like to talk about systematic oppression, the real system is systematic fraud. That's what they keep y'all occupied with, racism, because they don't want you to pay attention to where all of the money is going. It's not about race. It's never been about race. It's never been about race. It has always been about money. And if you can figure out where the money is going, if you can figure out where to get the money, you're going to start to have problems and people are not going to like you. You're going to start to have problems.
Bass and Nithya Raman are increasing the rampant drug use by using your tax dollars to hand out fentanyl needles, tourniquets, and crack pipes to addicts throughout the city.
Actually, the city paying for people to drive around, hand out needles and pipes and other things to use drugs.
By doing this, they are killing 6 to 7 people every day in the streets, in full public view of you and your children, and they pretend they're the compassionate ones? Ask yourself this: what if that addict on your street were your son, the baby boy you love more than anything, unemployed, doing drugs every day, defecating in public, harassing old ladies at the gas station for money? Would you buy him crack pipes? Would you let him continue to degrade himself in public? Of course not. You would stop the cycle. You wouldn't let him defecate and die in the streets. You'd grab him by the wrist, drag his butt to rehab, and get him sober, whether he liked it or not. If you brought him into your guest bedroom after rehab, you'd demand that he do 0 drugs and maintain a damn job. Why? Because you love him, and that's what you do for someone you care about. Karen Bass and Nithya Raman don't do this basic compassion intervention because they don't care about these people. They don't care if these poor souls struggle through their addiction and degrade themselves in full public view with no dignity. Karen and Nithya don't care. I do. Here's how I'm going to fix this problem and clean the streets for good, for the betterment of the struggling addicts and for you, the taxpayer who's been held hostage by these vagrants who ruined your once safe public spaces. Step 1, break the cycle. No more distribution of drug paraphernalia. Karen Bass and Nithya Raman currently pay NGOs millions of dollars to increase drug usage and profit off the misery of these drug addicts. I'm putting an end to this profiteering. Currently, street medical teams administer Narcan to reverse opioid overdoses. It blocks the opioid receptors in the brain so the addict can shoot up as much heroin as they want. It won't do a thing. The problem is Narcan only lasts for a day or two, and it doesn't break the addiction cycle. So these same addicts end up overdosing and getting more Narcan every week as these NGOs and pharmaceutical companies rake in profits. There is a longer lasting anti-narcotic drug called Vivitrol that does what Narcan does, but it lasts for 30 days, giving a much better chance of breaking the addiction. The problem is the addict must be sober for 7 to 14 days before it can be administered. So we have this donut hole between the 48 hours of protection with the Narcan and the 2 weeks of sobriety needed to administer the Vivitrol. This donut hole is the linchpin for winning this war against addiction. This is where my plan excels. Step 2, we have the laws. We just need to use them. Last year, Democrats smartly passed a common sense law amending SB43 to classify severe drug users as gravely disabled. SB43 gives the city and the county the legal pathway to place any and all street drug users on a 5150 hold for 72 hours. Through a cascading series of wellness checklists, this mandatory treatment hold can be extended for 2 weeks, filling that Narcan to Vivitrol donut hole and giving a real pathway for recovery. SB 43 gives us the legal pathway to hold these gravely disabled drug users for up to a year in a conservatorship if they need more treatment. This isn't jail. This is mandatory rehab. This is what you do for people you care about. Step 3, end the body brokering. Many of the addicts you see around your neighborhood are bussed in from other states in order for local NGOs to profit off their addiction. Los Angeles is ground zero for unscrupulous treatment centers who rake in billions of taxpayer dollars getting paid per head. Remember, every one of these people on the streets has a social security number. And once these groups have that social security number, they get access to unlimited Medicaid funds and government assistance. There's no cap on Medicaid dollars. So as long as these NGOs can claim they are providing assistance, they can rake in thousands of dollars per person every single month. 30% or more of the 45,000 plus street addicts in LA are from out of state. Most of them want to go home. Their families want them back, but many of them are stuck here with no way out.
I love my parents, and I'm happy to go home.
A now 21-year-old woman living on the streets of LA finally going home. We're blurring her face for safety with her story too painful to fully describe.
Are you happy to get away from the people you were with?
Yeah.
She's been lost in LA, on the streets, been homeless for years.
The woman's parents in Idaho overjoyed, about to leave for the airport.
I'm just so excited. I'm very nervous.
Their daughter ran away as a teenager, ending up in LA stuck.
She's been
Yeah, this is crazy. It's crazy for him to break this down like this and to go into this. If the people in Los Angeles don't vote this guy in, and if they don't put y'all got to pray for these type of people. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. When you see these type of people start to talk like this, you got to start praying for them. And the reason why, let me tell you what the prayer should be. All right. You know, we the Millionaire Morning Show. We're going to talk about this a little bit differently than what the general public is going to talk about, because they don't even know God. They don't know nothing about prayer. They don't know nothing about the Holy Ghost. They don't know about spirituality. They don't know about Christianity. They don't know about the Word of God. They don't know about none of that, right? Let me tell you what you should pray when these type of people come through. You have to pray for two things. You have to pray that they're protected because they're telling too much truth. And when you start to see too much of the truth come out, they don't mind a politician saying that they're going to make change because they know that nothing ever changes because somebody is not serious about it, and it's easy for them to get corrupted, right? And so you got to pray for their safety, because when you start to see people talk like this, I start to get scared for them personally. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you want to pray for is you want to pray that they stay encouraged and that they don't get discouraged or they're not corrupted once they get into the system or once they get into office. Because a lot of times you can see so much red tape, you can see so much happening that's trying to prevent you, and so many different obstacles that's basically trying to wear you down to eventually say, you know what? Nothing can change. We can't do anything about it. The system is too corrupt. I give up. I'm going to just go ahead and let it go. Or they start to become just like the very thing that they railed against. So you have to pray for their safety, and you have to pray that they endure to the end. Pray for their safety and pray that they endure to the end, because his campaign is really just the beginning. If he was to get elected, that's when the real demons are going to start to come out, because they'll start to try to smear your name. They'll start to try to say that you were planned. They'll start to try to tear apart your relationship. They'll start using some random crazy family member against you. They'll do anything it takes, all the way up to a possibility of you just getting a random accident and you dying. They will do anything it takes to try to keep the system in place that is allowed for them to enrich themselves at the behest of taxpayers and regular everyday souls that's on the street. Got to pray for something like this. His campaign, the way that he's talking, is too powerful. It's too powerful. And the first thing that they'll try to do is they'll try to throw money at you, or else. Throw money at you, or else. There's never been a shortage of opportunity when it comes to money. And that's the easiest thing that you can do to somebody, especially for people that make a whole bunch of money. Throw some money at them. They'll change. They'll compromise everything. Everything about them will change. All of their perspective will change. But that means that you got to be around and you got to be from a place where you've already seen money. That's why it's not good for people that has never had anything to get into these positions. Listen to what I'm telling you. I don't believe in 20 life coaches under 40 years old. 25, 26, 27-year-old life coaches that took a class and is going to tell you how it is that you're supposed to live your life. I don't believe in them. You know why? Because they don't even know what they would do if they were in a certain situation, because they ain't never been through it. You got to already done had money and lost money, or had money and know what it does to not be impressed by it, so that you're not then compromised when the opportunity presents itself for you to capitalize off of it. You a community leader right now. I guarantee you, your perspective on life is going to change once you see that bag of 100,000 just hit your desk. You know how many you gonna justify it? You know how many people I can help, man? That's the first thing that you do, is you justify it. Nah, listen, this ain't even bad money. You know how many people need this? I need to do this in order to do. And you're going to have to already done seen and overcame the women. Because that's the second thing that they'll throw at you, is a scandal involving a woman, because they want to compromise the values that you have. right? And that's the second thing that they're going to do. They're going to try to paint you to be something that you're not. When everything was innocent, the only thing that they have to do is to get enough people on social media to believe it, and then it becomes true. And so if you can't endure through that, the money and then the hoes, right? And then the hoes. And then if that's not enough, then they're going to start to assassinate your character with the people that you're around. It is the blueprint is all too familiar. It's better to kill a person's reputation than to kill them directly. It's easier and it's legal to do so. It's easier and it's legal to do so. Because the rumors are always going to be more powerful than the truth. Doesn't matter what evidence that you provide. Don't matter. Well, that's why I'm so surprised a lot of times at people that watch this show sometimes and they tell me, "No, Anton, the truth is there. You got to deep dive into it." Or, "No, man, that person is telling the truth about the other person." And it's like, well, how do you know? How do you know? Because what if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? What if you're absolutely wrong? And guess what? The power of the tongue, you can kill so many people. You can destroy a person and destroy a person's reputation with the power of the tongue. And you got to be accountable for that. Especially if a person, you consider yourself spiritual, you have to be accountable for what you continue to perpetuate, especially if it's not true. And of course, we're going to point to everybody else. Or we're going to get the beam out of your own eye today. Of course, we're going to point to everybody else and say, yeah, that person did it. And this person did it. What about you? Because you felt like the person was so famous, you can get away with it. It's not that big of a deal. You retweeted it too. You said the same thing. You said the same thing. You retweeted it. Killed the person's reputation, killed everything about them, ruined their life, ruined their prospects because you wanted to get it off. And that's why I believe that when you get a bigger platform, you have a greater responsibility to find the truth before you start leaning into what everybody else is saying. Because the truth, the court of public opinion is not the truth. You're right, Patrick Fabi says, yep, how many women put a man away because she claimed he did something? And we do it every day to people that we don't care about or people that we see a narrative is being painted about. We do the same thing. We do the same thing to people that we don't know and we don't have truth about because it's okay and it's popular to do so. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications. Let me read a few of these super chats. It's been a fire show today. Told y'all it was about to get hot up in here. Manny Plays PC says a friend of mine had Timberlands instead of Timberlands. Dark skinned Ken. Dark skinned Ken, are you dark skinned? Dark skinned Ken, you light skinned. Who told you was dark skinned Ken? Hey, listen, bro. I see men that want to be women. If you want to say you dark skinned, I'm with it, Ken. Dark skinned Ken, shout out to you, says, I need your input. Can't decide if I should get the Rolex Tridor Day Date 36 or the Everrose. What are your thoughts on the Trader? All insight is welcome. Listen, when you're buying a watch, when you're buying a timepiece, and I'm assuming that this is your first one. When you buy a timepiece, you have to buy the thing that you like. Don't buy it based off of what you think that everybody else likes or what everybody else wants. Buy it based off of what is the most meaningful to you. When I first walked in a Rolex store, and back then you can just buy it straight off the shelf. You didn't have to have an appointment. You didn't have to do any of that type of stuff, right? When I first bought my first Rolex, I was looking at two different watches, and I was trying to figure out if I should get this one or if I should get that one. I wind up going with the one which was the Submariner Date. I wound up going to get the one that I really wanted and I never forgot. And I never regretted it. That same watch that I bought, I passed it down to my daughter and she now owns it. That same one that I bought, I passed it down to my daughter. It's almost like a family heirloom now. So it doesn't matter what the watch is. It don't matter what it is. Get what you want. Get what's going to be meaningful to you. Get what's going to make your heart jump for joy when you buy it, because you want to love it and not necessarily buy it just because that's what everybody else said to do. You know what I'm saying? Get what you want. TS Car Wash says 80, you should do a Room 9 Slim Crash Out compilation. Nah. TS Car Wash and Detail Service says Room 9 Funniest Moments compilation. I don't know if I have the capacity to do that. AD, name your top 5 NBA ISO scores of all time. You're not going to like my list. I'm going to just tell you right now, because I don't have the same type of list as everybody else. You're not going to like my list. All right, I'll give you 5 people in no particular order. ISO scores. Jermaine O'Neal. See, I'm a real basketball head, and a lot of people don't really know how great Jermaine O'Neal was. Jermaine O'Neal. Larry Bird. Carmelo Anthony. Y'all don't really know how good Jermaine O'Neal was. And so, of course, you're going to say that because you're only going based off of what's happening in social media. Carmelo Anthony. Paul Pierce. Let me go over this again. Jermaine O'Neal. Larry Bird. Carmelo Anthony. Paul Pierce. I said in no particular order. I didn't say he was first. I said no in particular order. And there's so many that I'm going through right now, and I'm just trying to pick one. Five is a limited number. Steve Francis. That's my list. Honorable mention for Baron Davis. Honorable mention for Baron Davis. Steve Francis is definitely on the list. Y'all said my favorite, my top 5. You didn't say who were the best. You said my top 5. The reason why this is my top 5 is because I like their style of play. Steve Francis was one of the most explosive finishers. Dunk on your face, cock back, and then throw it and dunk it in your face. This is my favorite, not the greatest ISO players of all time. These are the people that I enjoyed watching growing up as a basketball head. And so these are the people that I loved. I love Paul Pierce's footwork. He was dope, especially during the time that he was playing with Antoine Walker. I think that Carmelo Anthony had one of the toughest games ever. I love Jermaine O'Neal. He played tough. He played big. He was a beast over in Indiana. Man. And Larry Bird is one of the most underrated, underappreciated ISO players of all time. And Larry Bird was talking to you the whole time. So, if you're saying that my list is crazy, then I know you don't know ball. It's easy for me to say T-Mac, Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant. Think outside of just the most popularized, the ones that the NBA promoted. Think outside of just the people that's on the surface. Michael Jordan, ISO Joe, all of these people. That's not to take anything away from them. But think outside of just the most popular people. Pick some people that was dope, that could truly ball and can play ISO ball and can go and get you a bucket. I want to hear from people that are true basketball heads that know that. I want to hear from people that understood how good Danny Granger was. I want to hear from people that understood how good Danny Granger was. I want to hear from people that understood how good Michael Redd was. I don't always just want to talk about, oh man, this person was popular. No, I want to talk about the people that truly balled. We know all of these other people. We know them. We talk about them every day. Let's talk about the people that was truly hooping before you really even understood how good they was. A lot of y'all not familiar with a lot of these guys. Y'all don't know about J.R. Ryder, Michael Finley, Jamal Mashburn. You don't really understand how good Jerry Stackhouse was. Jerry Stackhouse was a monster. Jerry Stackhouse was a monster. People don't understand how good these people were, bro. And so it's easy to just say, oh, this person or oh, this person. You don't know about Mitch Richmond. Brandon Roy before he got injured. And so a lot of people, they'll say, oh man, that list is, that's because you don't know ball. You just talking. You just talking. But see, the real ball people that understand ball, they know what I'm talking about. They get it. We hear. And so I could tell the people that understand ball and the people that don't understand ball. Shout out to you. Wesley Turner says, and Dems want the entire country to be like Cali. Just a brown girl in America, my girlfriend says, had a client OD on me and had to give CPR because narc wasn't working. This fool went and OD'd again the next week and passed on a bus stop. It's crazy. Vito Royale says, I think the last 18 to 24 months of Trump's presidency, ish will hit the fan on all fronts, and I'm ready for it. Treason rampant as F. Chase Barnes says, ADM peeps, hearing this makes you want to ask the question, does legalized drugs make communities safer? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. Five Brown says, California has spent, and let me also throw in there Grant Hill. Five Brown says California has spent, and Amari Stoudemire has spent $37 billion on homelessness since 2019. While homelessness has increased 24%, where is all of that money gone? Smells like fraud. Facts. And Isaiah Thomas. Jadion says homelessness can be seen all around the Bay Area on a daily drive. Cleaned up encampment are back in the days and moved down the street. It's a sickness. Amethyst Angel says Nick Shirley, Spencer Pratt, and others are walking their talk in 4K, living in the solution and offering cogent options. Thank you, Donald. John Quavius. Chris Cunningham says Steve Francis hands down was the best. Play his highlights. Man, Steve Francis, I can't. It's the Millionaire Morning Show. We're going to talk about it on probably Sunday. We're going to probably talk about it on the Millionaire Morning Show. AD, name one NBA player to start your team off with. You got to start your team off with a big man. So I'm always going to go with who I think is the greatest player of all time, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Jamani says Jamal Crawford. Jamal Crawford is a monster. TS Car Wash and Detail Service says Jamal Crawford, Brandon Jennings, Brandon Roy, Monte Ellis. Monte Ellis was a beast. Lou Will, Eddie Johnson, and Ricky Pierce. I like all of those players. And Rasheed Wallace. Rasheed Wallace was probably the most talented big man or one of the most talented. And Lamar Odom. Lamar Odom was so good. Dwayne Wade is so good. I don't like his fingernails. I don't like how sassy he is. But Dwayne Wade was a monster. It's a lot of monsters. Bonzi Wells. Shout out to the people that know Bonzi Wells. Yep. All right, y'all, let's continue on with the show before the ladies start getting mad at us. We start talking sports. But see, the people in the chat understand it. They get it. Let's talk about, let's see, we did Spencer Pratt, Kevin Hart, Floyd Mayweather. I want to revisit this Ferrari conversation, y'all. I want to revisit, because I talked about this yesterday. But I want to revisit this Ferrari conversation because I want to talk about the money aspect of it.
Slumping this morning, the market reacting with disappointment after the Italian manufacturer unveiled its first fully electric car. There it is. The 5-seat model is priced at a mere $640,000 and marks a sharp break from the sport cars maker's fuel-burning heritage. Joining us is Bloomberg transport reporter Danny Lee. Danny, tell us more about the car. Why has the reaction, at least from investors, been so negative?
Well, when you think about, Tom, the legacy that Ferrari has, this is a very much a fully electric vehicle that is very un-Ferrari-like. When you think of the two-doors, two-seater luxury sports cars that this Italian sports car maker does produce, the Prancing Horse is famous for, this is very much a departure. It's also a fully electric vehicle partly designed by former Apple executive Johnny Ive. So there's a lot that is very different, and I think investors are really digesting just how much Ferrari is trying to not pivot so much, but really capture a completely different audience, and perhaps audiences in different geographical markets. That is very radical to maybe something that is more attuned to the traditionalists with all the fuel and the fury that the Ferrari sports car is normally like. So this is very much a departure, and therefore you see that stock down really quite hard.
And it's interesting because Ferrari themselves have dialed back their ambitions of how many EV vehicles they're going to produce. Originally, I think their plan was to produce about 40% EVs by 2030. They've now dialed that down to 20%. But let's go back to the origin of all of this. Why have Ferrari decided to go electric?
Well, Ferrari wants to have a foothold even in some of the more nascent technologies. Clearly, the market has moved in various ways, but it's not just good enough having combustion engine, high-performance combustion engine cars. And so Ferrari wants to have not just that, but also hybrids and fully electric vehicles, and particularly in markets where it does really well, such as China, so it can have a bit more diversity in its offering. But clearly, by having a little bit of exposure, it does mean that it can potentially generate higher earnings, and particularly with this new pricing of this Ferrari Luce is going to be at the higher end of what it sells of its regular range. So
this is not a Ferrari Luce. This is a Ferrari Luce. They're calling it the Luce, okay? The Ferrari Luce. Okay, so why is this important for us to revisit? Well, the value of Ferrari has dropped by $3 billion. $3 billion. The value of Ferrari has dropped by $3 billion because right after they released this whole situation, right after they dropped the Luce. The 1 month and less than a month and in just a couple of days, their value has dropped by well over 6%. The entire value of the company has dropped by over 6%. And so now you see a $3 billion write-down / valuation going down on them because they wanted to take a risk and chase China. And really, that's all it comes down to, is that they're chasing China. And I'm going to just tell y'all right now, for all of my car aficionados, I know that this is the Millionaire Morning Show, so we're going to talk about it from a financial perspective, but China is going to ruin the car industry. They already are. China. Bob Brown says, is this a buying opportunity? No, we do not invest in automakers unless it is an upstart that we think has a lot of headroom and we want to take a riskier opportunity to do so. China is going to ruin the auto industry. They've already ruined the Mercedes GT. Now they're ruining the Ferrari Luce. And I don't like it. I don't like it because now so many people are chasing opportunities in China instead of sticking to the core of what they do. All of a sudden, the Charger electric don't look so bad anymore, does it? I'm starting to see a lot of them on the street, not the electric version. I'm starting to see a lot of them on the street. The Charger doesn't look so bad all of a sudden. Yes, the GT is terrible. It's designed, that whole friendly face that it got on the front of it, it is designed for the Chinese market. And so this is what they're chasing. Luce, GT. Look at these two POS cars that I'm about to show y'all right now. Look at these cars. Look at these garbage cars. One of them is the new AMG GT. The other one is the Ferrari Luce. Automakers had started opting out of EVs altogether until they realized that Chinese EVs that are being subsidized by the federal government, the Chinese government is being subsidized by the government in order to sell more vehicles, and they're able to do so at a lower cost until they start to raise up the cost to produce a vehicle by giving more money over to the people that are working in these manufacturing plants. Facts. The face of that that's exactly what the face said. Nah, we don't want that, fam. We don't want that. The people in Europe didn't want it. We don't want it. And so what happens is that everybody is trying to appeal to the Chinese market and they're forgetting who their core customers are. No, it's not. No, it's not. This AMG GT is horrible, especially when you compare it to the past GTs. It's ugly. It's truly ugly. AMG GT. Look at this. This is a car. This is what it's supposed to look like. This right here. This is what a car looks like. That's what it's supposed to look like. It's not supposed to look like this POS right here. Horrible. Horrible. So the market has responded accordingly. Everybody is saying we don't want this POS. And that's why the value of Ferrari has dropped by $3 billion as a result of it. And let me tell you the history of a lot of these vehicles, but I'm going to get to that in a second.
generate higher earnings, and particularly with this new pricing of this Ferrari Loose is going to be at the higher end of what it sells of its regular range. So this pricing is a very deliberate strategy as well to help drive up those earnings, particularly as its overall production of Ferrari cars are generally capped, so therefore it can keep that exclusivity.
So, Danny, look, this is obviously a really important moment for Ferrari pushing into EVs, but this is just one, to your point, this is just one amongst the portfolio that Ferrari will now offer. So how much of an effect is it likely to have on the company's performance, the outlook going forward?
Well, Ferrari does have the confidence to, when it has broken the mold. So it, earlier in the last couple of years, has produced an SUV that has 4 seats and 4 doors, completely different to what it has done.
That was the Parasangway. All right. The Parasangway is what they produced that had 4 seats and 4 doors. And they basically were chasing Porsche as a result of it. All right. They were chasing Porsche because Porsche is the one that actually pioneered ultra luxury vehicles and exotic car makers, performance car makers going into the luxury segment. And at the time, everybody hated Porsche for it. They got mad at them when they produced the original Cayenne because it said it went away from the thing that made Porsche special with the 911 and the 918 Spider. And, you know, they had already started producing the Panamera and stuff like that. So when they came out with the Cayenne, which was supposed to be a volume seller, and they were successful at it, the enthusiasts learned to appreciate it because what it did was it saved the company. It allowed for them to produce the 911 Turbo S, the GT3, all of this other type of stuff. And so the volume seller, if you go to any dealership, and a lot of Porsche dealerships, a lot of Ferrari dealerships, a lot of Lamborghini dealerships, they try to get you, in order to get an allocation for the cars that you really want, they try to get you to buy all of the cars that they're moving from a volume seller perspective. So they want you to buy a Cayenne. The Macan came later. If you want to know who the majority of the people that are driving all of these Macans every single day, they're Asian women. Asian women love Macans. They love Macans. They love it, right? And so since Porsche pioneered the segment of selling an SUV and they were incredibly profitable as a result of it, right? Then you started to see the adoption of it across the whole spectrum. So Lamborghini eventually came out with the Urus, which is also based off of what? The Cayenne and the RS8. The Audi, and it's based off of the Porsche and the Audi, right? So when you're buying a Cayenne, all of the parts, all of it is all manufactured by their parent company. What's the parent company? The parent company is Volkswagen. So when you see them sharing underpinnings and architecture and they frames and all of this stuff, what you're seeing a Urus as, and people gonna buy it because they like the name, they're platform sharing. That's correct, DJ Ace. What you see happening is they're sharing a platform and they're changing the body panels. They're changing what the underpinnings are. But if you start to look up under it, most of the parts are all made by Volkswagen. But you know how we do, baby. Listen, you pulling up in the RS versus you pulling up in the Urus, it's just going to have a different impact for the valet person. Now, you should get what you want, right? But my point is that you're going to pay $150,000 more for the Urus than you are for the RS or you are for the Cayenne, even if you get the Turbo S. It is. A Urus is an RSQ8, but the Cayenne is the same thing. They're all made by the same company. So what you see Ferrari doing is Ferrari with the Parasangway, which was their SUV. They were able to sell that to a lot of people, especially if you wanted an allocation for whatever new Ferrari that was coming out. Now they're releasing this garbage. And let me tell you who's going to buy this. Whoever it is that wants an allocation to a better car, because this is garbage. They brought Johnny Ives in. Johnny Ives should have been contained. And again, this is the reason why you can't have everybody that you think are awesome go and run their own company. And this is the reason why Steve Jobs was so awesome. This is why Tim Cook is so great, because they are the ones that are able to tame in or bring in and say, hey, listen, this, not that. Now, the Johnny Ives is going to get all of the credit, right? The Steve Wozniak they're going to say, oh man, Steve Jobs was nothing without them. No, they were nothing without Steve Jobs. If you had not got Steve Jobs as the orchestra, as the person that is controlling the orchestra, you don't even know where to put the parts at. You don't know where to put the talent at. You don't know where to put the parts at. You don't know where to put the talent at. The underpaid doctor says it's the future, AD. Like you said, we can't fall behind. You can't fall behind in design. Nobody wants this ugly POS. Nobody wants this ugly POS. Yes, the Navigator DJ Ace Productions is an expedition. Or you can say an expedition is a Navigator. That is correct. That is absolutely 1000% correct. Steve Jobs was the visionary, and he brought together the people to put together a great product, and he was able to identify their talent, but they were nothing without him. They were nothing without him. Steve Wozniak would have been nothing without Steve Jobs, in my opinion. It's just the facts. It's just the facts. And so he knew what to put together, but when Johnny Ives went out there by himself, this is the garbage that they decided that they wanted to design. And it took $3 billion off the valuation of the company. Took a bunch of money off the company. Right? And so this is a lesson. Let this be a lesson, is that you have to still be in any industry, whether you're talking about technology, if you opening up a restaurant, okay? If you're opening up a restaurant today, if you think that the food alone is going to be enough in order to get people to, and you're going to survive in a restaurant industry, you got another thing coming. You know what you got to do? You got to make it appeal. It's probably 10 different factors that goes into whether or not your restaurant is going to be successful, outside of if your food is good or not. Want me to give you a few of them? Presentation, service, marketing, user experience to getting in and out of the location, creating a demand. Sometimes some of y'all stay open too long. See, I'm not going to give you all of the sauce. Sometimes y'all stay open too long. You know what's great about breakfast places is that you're limited in the time that you can go there. So the Pancake House, which is always usually full, the Pancake House, for example, out in Southfield, Birmingham, I think I'm going to actually go get me some Pancake House after the show. But the Pancake House only stays open till like 2 or 3 or 4 o'clock, depending on what day of the week it is, right? And it creates this artificial demand. You know what makes Lamborghini, Ferrari, all of these locations, all of these different car manufacturers, you know what makes them so awesome is that they're able to sell a limited amount at a higher price to create the demand, which also raises the value of the car itself. Do you know why a 911 is still valuable? I traded in my 911 in order to get my to knock off a bunch of the price off of my Temerario. It was worth significantly more than what a normal used driven car was. You know why that is? Because 911s are rare. And that's why Porsche is very careful with their design. In order to get an allocation from when you got to buy all of this, you got to buy that, you got to buy that, and then they're going to consider you. You know why Huracan, a Temerario, even though it was their volume car outside of the Urus, you know why? Because they say we're only going to make X amount per year. And so it makes it more valuable. If they limit the amount that they're going to sell, they can sell it at a higher price, and they can create an artificial market as a result of it. And you have to do the same thing with your food. When there's no line for, you know what? You know the club that everybody want to go to is the one that's always got the line. Vegas just opened Omni Nightclub or Omni Day Club, right? So funny. Everybody said that Vegas was dead, right? The day spot, right? The outside part. A lot of times bouncers, look at this. Look at all of these people.
You calling Steph?
Look at all of these people.
There's a new day club in Las Vegas at Caesar Palace, and that's Omnia Day Club. I'm going to tell you the information you need to know. Number one, Omnia Day Club is actually open Thursdays through Sundays. Thursdays, like every pool party, it's going to be just chill vibes. Everybody's going to be free until 3 p.m. on the guest list. Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, there's guest lists. You're going to see a Tiesto on a Saturday. The Vegas club promoter tells you be there around 10 a.m. Take it seriously because it's going to get packed. Or if you want to buy tickets ahead of time because you can't make it around that time, Vegas club promoter like myself can help you with that, and sections too.
So a Vegas club promoter can now help you with it. This is what you're going to be looking for. You know what everybody want to do? And guess where everybody want to be? Wherever the new day party is. Guess who they brought out? Kevin Hart. And so everybody gonna be out there like this. Guess what? Listen. You see all of those white people out there for Kevin Hart? Kevin Hart came on the horse and was handing out bottles of tequila. Black people was in their cars doing think pieces on his roast and George Floyd, and Kevin Hart was like this. And all of the people that was there, Mine says Vegas is dead. One day club don't fix it. There are endless vlog videos showing how tons of places are shut down in Vegas. You know what's so funny about that? I love it. I love the fact that y'all live on the internet. I do. I love the fact that a lot of people live on the internet. I've always believed that you have to have a mix of both. I just came from Vegas about 2 months ago. And I go to Vegas about 4 or 5 times a year. It was packed. It was packed. John, they talking about what they seen on a vlog from somebody trying to create a narrative. Vegas was packed. Every casino. Bro, go in the Bellagio at around 3 p.m. It's a line everywhere of people trying to check in to get their rooms. Go over to the conservatory where they do all of the new designs over in Vegas. I think I'm about to be in Vegas literally in about a couple weeks. Vegas be packed. It is lit in Vegas. Y'all got to get off the internet and stop believing somebody that some narrative that somebody said because they know that they're going to get views. Oh, man, Vegas is dead. Man, don't you know that they building a brand new baseball stadium? Literally, they just blew up the Tropicana. They're building a whole nother hotel, the Hard Rock Casino and Cafe. That got that going up. Resorts World is popping. The Fontainebleau is popping. I stay at the Vidar because I don't even want to be in the casino, and I can walk over to the Aria or I can walk over to the Bellagio right next door. It's popping. I don't believe nothing that people are talking about on the internet. I don't believe nothing that people are talking about on the internet. Vegas be on jump mode. Y'all got to go see it for yourself. Y'all got to see it for you. Oh, man, Vegas is dead. Man, I went to Vegas. It was like, oops, 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 oops. So are all these people over here in Vegas? I thought they said that it was dead. Yes, and the NBA will be there sooner than later. There was so many people out there, man. I went down to my hotel room. It was conferences. They had what did they have? They had the Caterpillar Construction Conference there. It was all kind of women everywhere trying to get chose. And they was all over the place. Man, he said, I seen all of the vlogs. They said that Vegas is dead. I was out in Vegas. It was like, I'm guessing downtown Vegas was out of control. Y'all got to get outside. You have to go outside. Matter of fact, let me see something. This is literally spirit of moment.
Hello.
Hey, I'm on a live stream. I got a question for you.
Oh, Jesus. Let's do it.
Why do you always do that?
Because I don't know what you be wanting from me. Go ahead. Come on.
How was Vegas?
Amazing.
Was it busy?
Give me 1 second. I just got to get you. Yes.
It was busy in Vegas?
Yes. It was a lot happening. It was a bunch of concerts and stuff.
Okay. That's all I wanted.
Bye.
When did you fly back? Yesterday?
Last night. Then I flew out again this morning.
I know. I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to let the people know. Okay. All right, bye. And her and my daughter is flying back out to go somewhere else. I ain't telling y'all where they going. That ain't important. That ain't important. She said, man, there's so many people in Vegas. It's popping out here. She said, it's popping out here in Vegas. I said, it's crazy like that. She said, it's a lot of people, concerts, construction, conferences, all of this other stuff. I said, oh, okay, that's cool. They'll sit there and tell you, no, man, Vegas is dead. Vegas is gone. Ain't nobody going to Vegas right now. All right, you keep sitting in your basement, wishing bad on everybody, and we're going to see how that plays out. Vegas is dead. Like, go, yo, seriously, yo, I love it that y'all tuned in for the Millionaire Morning Show. I love that everything is going well. But, you know, go outside too. Watch it on your way to your destination. Watch it on your way to your destination. Let me read a couple of these super chats. TS says, AD, do you like the Ram Bumblebee? Yes, we like the Ram Bumblebee, but I don't think that we're going to get it because we like the TRX better. We might get the new TRX though. Whoever greenlit that terrible design, I don't know what they was going on. Will you get another GT3? I didn't have a GT3. I did not have a GT3, but I would like to get a Turbo S. I think I'm gonna get a Turbo S. So that's the goal, to get a Turbo S now. Matter of fact, let me go and look at it real quick. I done already ordered the rolls. New 911 available. I want a Turbo S. I don't want just a 4S or a Carrera S. I want a Turbo S. Who was my dealer? I forgot his name.
You going there, hello?
Hey, I got one more question. Do you remember the name of our dealer and at the Porsche dealership, the name of the guy?
Where we got my car from?
Yeah, and where we got the 911 from and the Cayenne.
Hold on one second. I think I might have it in my phone. Hold on a second. I'm saying. Yeah, come on, let's just because I don't see Dawn. You want me to say his name now?
Yeah, you can say his name, it don't matter.
His name is Barry Strecker.
Barry?
Berry, yes.
When you get a chance, can you call him and see if we can get a 911 Turbo S?
That's good. Yes.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye. Fly Brown telling me how many cars I can have. Says who? Says who, Fly Brown? Let me pivot for a second. I want to go over to this really quickly. I hate to do this to y'all, but we got to do it, y'all. We got to do it. We got to do it, and we got to have this conversation. Fly Brown told me I got a 5-car limit. Now, before I go into this, I don't want to talk about it because I'm all Cheyenne'd out. I am. I think she's a nice looking girl, though. She's definitely a nice looking girl. But I am Cheyenne'd out. I am Cheyenne'd out. All right. But she's selling the book. And for whatever reason, she cannot stay outside of the blogs. I don't know if this is her purpose. I don't know if she's trying to do this or what. But I guess they got this show called Truth Talks, which is not a popular show at all. And I don't know what platform they air it on. I think they air it on a combination of different platforms or whatever. But they have this show called Truth Talks. Now, one person that I truly don't like in general, I genuinely just don't like him, as I think that I got my thoughts, but I don't necessarily care about him, is this Torre dude. I do not like this Torre dude, but him and Cheyenne Bryant got into a whole kerfuffle, apparently, and I don't know what they're trying to do on this platform. I don't know what the goal is. I don't know what they're trying to build, but apparently they got. Look at this for a second. Give me a second. Look at Torre and Cheyenne Bryant's background. Both of these backgrounds are bold. They green screen. Yes, this is very recent. This is recent. What is wrong with these backgrounds? Why don't people get a regular background with a regular production or something happening behind it? If y'all getting so much money, y'all gonna have to do better. But that's not what we came here for. Let's get to it.
Doc, what do you think about the notion of holding parents criminally responsible for their children's behavior?
I said it earlier. I said it's circumstantial. I think that if a parent is neglecting their child of what's needed for them to be mentally stable and healthy and be in a state of mind where they can actually, operate as a citizen who isn't impaired, then I think that that parent who's providing those resources, should not be have consequence or discipline. But again, if you're neglecting your child in any manner, I think there should be consequences to a parent, no matter what, if there's neglect at the hands of a child. But y'all know how I feel. I feel gentle parenting makes for gentle a child. I think that there are rules and there's structure, and there's a thing called boundaries, and boundaries have been proven to create healthy relationships, not just between people, but for that person within themselves. And if we raise kids with no boundaries and no structure and discipline, they go out into the world and they don't understand that, and they end up being in battles, and they end up actually having a lot of issues with law enforcement. They end up being the child that's disruptive in school and class because they don't understand that the world doesn't revolve around them. There's a big world that they are able to participate in, but they cannot be the center of attention to everything. And so I'll end on saying that what I do agree with is that every child is different, and that every child may not necessarily need the same level of discipline, but every child does need structure and discipline in order for that child to grow up and be an adult who understands that this is the law of the land, this is how life works, and successful people, not just only externally, but internally, what they do carry at the nucleus of who they are is discipline.
And guess what? It's a lot of people that are going to disagree with her just for the sake of disagreeing with her because they don't like her. I've already seen people react to this without even watching this video. And so I wanted to watch the video, but I just so happen to be watching the video live so that I can react to it live. But I've seen people and women that call themselves doctors, real doctors and psychologists and all of this stuff, right? They just disagreed with her for the sake of disagreeing with her. I don't disagree with what she just said whatsoever. I don't believe in gentle parenting, yet I also believe that every child is different. So you can't just take an even hand and a blanket way of going about disciplining a child or raising a child and saying, this is the way that we need to move, about this whole situation. And we just got to keep it the same across the board with every single child. No. I think that every child is different. All three of me, me and my three brothers, we were all completely different. We were raised at a different time, as far as in my parents' life, and we needed different levels of discipline based off of where we were, right? I don't disagree with what she's saying. And so I think that the hate for her has reached a level that people are going to find something wrong in what she's saying because they don't like her. It's not that they're disagreeing with her talking point. Somebody says, sir, that's not even an issue. It's her behavior afterwards. Well, I haven't gotten to her behavior afterwards. I'm literally listening to what her talking point is, and then I'm going to get to that too. I just told you that I'm reacting to it in real time. Her presentation, now listen to what's being said. Her presentation is wrong. She's just regurgitating smart points. She didn't come up with them herself. What are y'all talking about? This is how you know. Very few ideas on this earth is original. At some point, we all learn something, and then we learn how to put it together in our own words, combined with our own lived experiences. But maybe 1% of what it is that we talk about or we have a conversation about is original. You may get some originality or your own personality in it. What difference does it make? If it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's entertaining, it's entertaining. But this is the point that I'm making, is that people are they hate. If I had said it, y'all wouldn't have tripped about it. Hey, what do you think about disciplining and gentle parenting? Well, guys, you know what? I don't think that gentle parenting worked for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because the way I was raised, I needed every whooping that I got. I probably got away with a lot of it. And so, the thing that kept me was the fact that I had tough parents that didn't want to see me in the streets. And so taking that and extrapolating that into what I see happening with these teen takeovers and, everything that's happening, I think that we need to have a tougher hand. And the fact that we had so many single parent households forced people into gentle parenting because the mothers couldn't really be there in the same way that they would have been there if they were in a two-parent household and they were dependent on both parents. You got to see how the way that your father treats your mother, but then at the same time, when you give that discipline, that also is the reinforcing of how it is that you see, how it is that you're supposed to put these values and everything inside of your kids. You know what I'm saying? So I don't believe in gentle parenting. I believe in getting the strap and making sure that you put belt to A. And then on top of that, you got to still also tell them why and explain why it's important for them to do this. And as a matter of fact, and then I'm going to go and get a belt, right? And then I'm going to go and illustrate how you whoop a kid and all of this other stuff, right? And so we're saying similar things, but we're saying it in our own way. And so it's easy to say, well, oh man, I don't like her. What are you talking about? The point is the point. How you get the point off and whether or not they're receiving what you're saying, regardless of whether you agree or not, because again, it's all entertainment, is the point. But people they've turned against her. They don't like her. I've seen people on live streams disagree with every single thing that I say just because it's me. Everything I say is right, but they disagree with it just because it's me. Just say you don't like her, and I will respect you more if you just come straight out and say, you know what, I just don't like her, and so I'm not going to receive what she's saying.
Boundaries.
If gentle parenting creates gentle children, sign me up. I definitely want to create more gentle adults, especially men. Hold on, everybody, especially men.
You are
My
a gentle.
God,
You are
you
a
kidding?
very, very.
Hold on, guys.
Hold
Hold on, guys. That's what we need in the world is more gentle men who understand.
You're very gentle, and it comes at an angle that doesn't always work for people.
Let's just stop.
So tell me that you agree with Torre more than you're agreeing with Cheyenne Bryan in this situation. I agree, Crown. It's that right messenger, right message, wrong messenger BS. She's right. She's right. I don't agree with what he's saying with this whole gentle stuff. Now, whatever is about to happen, it looks like they're about to get into a confrontation right now. She's right. He's off. And so what are we talking about? What do you mean we need more gentle men? No, we need more men embracing masculinity and being the exemplification of what we would like to see inside of our households. Somebody said she was interrupting him. So what? We interrupt Slimmy. What does that mean? Everybody get interrupted. That's what makes the show entertaining. That's what y'all want to see. Listen. All right, I'm about to play the rest of this video, but let me just say this right here. Stop acting like y'all don't like people going back and forth and arguing. That is what makes it entertaining. Y'all like to see Slimmy crash out. Y'all like to see. If y'all just heard everybody just say, okay, let's wait our turn. You like to see arguing. You like to see what's going on. You like to see people crashing out. You like to see people having difference of opinions. You like to say somebody is wrong. You want to choose a side. You want to say Anton got cooked or Slimmy got cooked. That's what you like. Stop acting like that's not what y'all want to see. That is a form of entertainment. That's a part of the show. We look for you can almost bet your bottom dollar that it's gonna happen. That Slimmy is gonna say, ma'am, can you please be quiet? Can you please be quiet, ma'am? And then depending on what woman he's talking to at the time, it's gonna get a different result. I beg your pardon, ma'am. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm not looking to go back and forth right now. He sure did. I was cracking up.
Let's just stop. Let's just stop and go back because I'm wrapping the show and you're interrupting me.
First of all,
this is what we spent a whole meeting on this.
First of all, Torre,
why don't you let me wrap the show?
We're not the only people that get into it about this. Apparently, everybody else getting into it about it.
The show.
First of
What
all,
is the point of interrupting me? We're getting out of here. Like, what is the point? What is the point? It says go to host up.
Voice when
And
you're
even
talking
still,
to me.
your argument
Lower
to
your
me,
fucking voice when you're talking to me,
fuck?
because you're
Like, can we
acting very,
finish the
very
show?
gentle,
We're
very
ending the
soft, and
show.
very feminine. And
The
this is
show
the
is
problem.
over.
Correct. You
What
talk
are
to your
you
wife
doing?
like that. You don't
Why-
talk to
it
me
says
like
in
that.
the script.
I am not
Let
your
him
wife.
finish.
You don't talk to
Why
me
does it
like
need to
that.
say in
I'm
the
not
script?
your wife,
Let him
gentle.
finish.
I'm not your
Like, what
wife,
the fuck?
softy. Don't
What are
talk
we
to me like
doing?
that. You talk
What are
to
we
your
doing?
talk to your wife
Can
like
we
that,
finish the
not
show?
me. Teray,
This is
talk
not
to your wife
professional.
like that. Do not.
Let me tell you something. This would have never flew with Slimmy. Slimmy wouldn't be having it. Slimmy and Toure is two different people. This would never, ever, ever fly with Slim Dog Millionaire. Warlord Slimmy would have been on a rampage. Warlord Slimmy would have had everybody in the tizzy on this platform right now. They might have had to take this off the air.
Talk to me
not
like that.
professional.
That is
Like, what
not
the
how.
fuck?
That is not how you
Can we
finish. That is not how you professionally approach me. Don't fucking talk to me like that. Check.
Frank and Ariva, I apologize.
Check yourself. You don't talk to me like that.
Hold
talk
on,
to your
Doc.
wife like that.
Doc, hold on.
Shut the fuck up talking to me like that. That's what you do. That's what you do. You better tap into your gentleness and real quick.
Hey, she told him to tap into his gentleness. What does that even mean?
We ready?
I've been ready. Been ready.
Ariva, Frank, you guys ready?
Yep.
Yep. You ready to wrap this up?
Yes, as I was doing.
And then we'll speak off camera. Here we go.
We always ask, when should a parent be held responsible for their children's behavior, whether it's at school, tantrum in Walmart, whatever? Let's flip the lens. There's a difference between the parent mourning a child lost to violence and the one silently praying because their child pulled the trigger. One gets sympathy, the other gets silence, but both carry a pain the world rarely understands. So tonight, the part we never talk about, ask yourself, not as a spectator, but as a parent of a child who took a life, how should society treat that parent? Should the law hold them accountable or let them live with the weight in silence? Would you deserve compassion or a conviction or a bunch of I told you so's? It's a tough one, but that's what we do on Truth Talks. Hit us in the comments and let us know how you feel. That's all we have for tonight. Thank you for Bring the Funk family for welcoming.
You can't even say the words right.
The Truth Tellers to the channel. This is our last week on Roland Martin Unfiltered. To continue to see the show and support Black media, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Truth Talks Live, where you can catch us every night at 8 p.m. EST and at 11 p.m. EST. Support Black media at Cash App's Truth Talks Live or on any of the links on your screen. Get your Truth Talks membership today. Click here on the screen and you can choose from 3 different.
I don't know. I thought it was entertaining. Yeah, she interrupted him. But I thought it was entertaining. I'm just trying to figure out where to I mean, she was telling the truth, especially about him being gentle, but I can understand why people are against her. I get it. He shut up, he was quiet, and all of that stuff. Not really my style, but it is what it is. Mr. Lott says he got the blowback of what she been wanting to tell everybody all month. Dark Skin Ken says I bought her book even though she's not a doctor. I did my part. Now she need to do hers and fall back for a bit. By the way, the 997 911 Turbo in manual. I don't know if you can find it in manual. It's gonna cost you an arm and a leg in order to get it in manual. It's gonna cost you an arm and a leg. You know what I'm saying? She said, talk to your wife like that. Don't talk to me like that. That's a fact. That's a fact. Tori about to go tell. I got so much more. Yeah, we're gonna have to hurry up and get this 4-hour show set up. Let me see what's going on here.
I'm seeing you since you've been home, man.
No.
We've been talking about this for a minute.
A long time.
And we did you will call me from prison, but we did an interview, audio thing.
Speak on little things. I didn't try to dive.
I don't hold nothing to you. I don't hold nothing to you, brother. I don't hold nothing to you. But
I wish you would have came though.
Man, I didn't know. I knew my date. I knew the month, but it was like days.
All right, I'm gonna opt out of this one. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it, to be honest with you. I want to go to another story instead. I think something that may be a little bit more entertaining.
Seattle leaders say they're facing growing calls to do more as members of the transgender and queer communities relocate here from other states. The Seattle LGBTQ Commission has sent a letter to Mayor Katie Wilson asking her to declare a civil state of emergency. Fox 13's Alejandra Guzman spoke with a trans woman who left Texas and asked her why she believes these resources are so important.
Seattle's LGBTQ community is growing by the thousands as trans and gender nonconforming people are seeking refuge in the city of Seattle. But advocates warn that the organizations helping them find their footing here could run out of resources by the summer. For decades, Capitol Hill has been a cultural and historic hub for Seattle's LGBTQ community. Advocates say they're seeing an increase of people coming here from more conservative states, hoping for a chance to live more openly and freely. For Jessa Davis. Is it safe to say that you sought refuge here in Seattle?
Absolutely. That was the absolute intent.
Jessa moved to Seattle 3 years ago from Odessa, Texas, the place where she transitioned. But it was also the place where she says she no longer felt safe living. Jessa says she stayed in the closet for years, but the emotional toll became too heavy.
I was just like, I don't care, about anything more than, trying to alleviate this just sense of dread.
But she says coming out to her.
Imagine you decide that you want to be an older white woman. And the older white women, especially the librarians, they usually had the glasses that had the things that go around it, like it had, how it got it right there. Imagine you were born a biological male and you wanted to come out of the closet and you didn't like the response that people had that you came out of the closet to, which in a lot of instances, people already know. You know what I'm saying? Like the people closest to you, you can fool some of the people some of the times, but you can't fool all of the people all of the time. And so people already know a lot of times about what's going on and what's happening and all of this stuff, right? And so you want to come out of the closet. You don't like that people are cool with you coming out of are not cool with you being whatever it is. They don't want to accept your lifestyle the way that you want them to accept your lifestyle. And so now you get mad at them. You wild, Chase Barnes. You get mad at them. You don't like the response that you got after coming out of the. It said, "Is it a shared class?" 409. Imagine being a woman. Well, here, that's the thing. That's the thing. All right, let me revise it. Let me revise it to make it more relatable. Imagine that you have a lifestyle that you want to live and somebody doesn't agree with the lifestyle that you live. Let's say you want 2 women. Let's say you want to quit your job and you want to start a company instead of still working for corporate America. Whatever it is that you want to do. And people don't agree with what you decide that you want to do. Does that make you feel like you need to go and seek refuge from a completely different place? Or does that make you feel like you need to go and seek refuge in a completely different place? Or is it that y'all just disagree? Because Seattle, for everybody that watches this show, whether you restreaming it or you watching it live, Seattle has now become ground zero, not Atlanta, not San Francisco, not Portland, Seattle. Seattle has become ground zero for the LGBT ABCDEFG rep for them seeking comfortability and refuge because they feel like they feel, not that they are, they feel like they are being persecuted because when they come out, they don't get the response that they want. Ain't it crazy how entire cities, shout out to Class C, shout out to everybody in the chat. Ain't it crazy how entire cities can be taken over by a group of people? Like the United States of America is really segmented. Somalians went and took over Minneapolis. LGBTQ people went and took over Seattle. Gay black men, they all decided that they wanted to go to Atlanta and DC, Chocolate City. You know, the Hustlers decided that they want to come to Detroit. Shout out to the Hustlers. Hustlers is in Detroit, right? The Killers, they said, let's all go over to Chicago. The Socialists, they said that we want to go over to New York. I like DC too. I ain't never had a bad time in DC. Every time I do a meetup in DC, it be popping. It be popping. But seriously, like the Mexicans, a lot of them went and took over Los Angeles. And the Chinese took over San Diego. Chinese love San Diego. Chinese people, they said, oh, we gonna go to San Diego. Chinese people went over to San Diego. You said the races is in Nashville? The races ain't in Nashville. The races is in the Ozarks, baby. They all segmented themselves. They said, we're going to take over the Ozarks and the Arkansas. I said the Ozarks and Arkansas. Oh, the Chinese, they love San Diego. San Diego, oh man, they over at San Diego. Cubans are down in Florida because of the proximity over to Cuba. All of the scammers, a lot of them all decided to go down to Miami. Some of them are still in Atlanta, but a lot of them decided to go down to Miami. Scammers is down in Miami. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody decided to congregate with their congregation wherever they are. You know what I'm saying? Chinese people are everywhere. Everybody is everywhere, but it's a higher concentration of them in that particular area. You know?
Dread.
But she says coming out to herself.
Voices deep. Dread. Sounding like Ivan Drago.
And others came at a cost.
It was scary. I lost friends, I lost colleagues, and I lived with a daily threat of violence.
Seattle LGBTQ Commission Chair Chris Curious says organizations helping trans and queer people.
His name is Chris Curious. I don't believe that these are the names that y'all moms and y'all fathers gave y'all. Who names her child Chris Curious?
People relocate, helping trans Commission Chair Chris.
Threat of violence.
Seattle LGBTQ Commission Chair Chris Curious says organizations helping trans and queer people relocate are struggling to keep up with the demand for basic things like housing, food assistance, and mental health support.
It's people coming to our region by the thousands.
I couldn't live my life being afraid of my state government in Texas.
Because of stories like Jess's.
Look at this. Look, hold on. Look how strong this 6'3" biological male with open-toe sandals and skin-tight skinny jeans on is sitting. That's crazy. That's crazy. We are in a crazy time, bro. It's a crazy world that we live in, ladies and gentlemen. We are in crazy times. Real talk. Whew. I don't know, class eats. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Crazy.
Justice. The Seattle LGBTQ Commission has asked Mayor Katie Wilson to declare a civil state of emergency.
There are some community organizations rapidly losing resources that could run out by the end of the summer.
Mayor Wilson says she's launching an interdepartmental team to fast track what the needs are by August.
I am happy with the mayor's response as a starting point.
A rally in support of the transgender community is planned for Saturday at Cal Anderson. The commission hopes it sparks urgency so that funding and resources become available to help people like Jessup, who found safety in Seattle. From Capitol Hill, I'm Alejandra Guzman.
These people are insane, bro. Look at them. They all look the same. They all have a look. They all have a look.
We deserve to be here. This is our voice. This is our time.
A time for action.
You ain't never got to worry about being unsafe or feeling like somebody is going to beat you up and take you.
From the LGBTQ community in Seattle.
The letter came at a time where we need to start protecting ourselves.
Andrew Ashufu with the Seattle.
They never have a mustache. They never have a beard.
LGBTQ Commission says more trans people and families are.
Look how tall that one is. Look at the tall one right there. Look at the tall one with the thigh highs right there.
To Seattle for safety, care, and support. The commission is now urging Mayor Katie Wilson to declare a civil emergency.
We're seeing it coming in droves. Trans people coming from especially red states to Seattle to not just for gender affirming care, for safety. We've seen families uprooting to come to Seattle to protect their trans kids.
The commission says community organizations are already stretched thin and that an emergency declaration could help the city speed up funding, services, and resources.
And then he got the nerve to be disrespectful towards God. Got the nerve to be disrespectful towards God. You see it? They don't have no respect for your religion. They don't have no respect for nobody. Then they got the nerve to be disrespectful by wearing something that got crosses on it, and at the same time perverting the rainbow to mean something that it's not supposed to mean.
Coordination. While there's no exact local data, a study from the Movement Advancement Project and the University of Chicago found that since November 2024, at least 400,000 transgender and gender nonconforming people have moved states due to anti-LGBTQ laws or political conditions.
I was being harassed and intimidated to the point of my personal safety was in jeopardy.
El Cree, who identifies as a trans woman, moved to Seattle.
Look at this junk, bro. Look at this, man. This is crazy. Somebody said it looks like Leatherface. Rewind that. I got you. Insane. And I'm going to tell you this also, and I'm going to leave it here, and then we're going to go ahead and keep it moving. A lot of times, and this is just my personal experience, I know that this is not applicable to everybody, but this is my personal experience. A lot of times when you get up close and you having conversations with a lot of these people that live these alternative lifestyles, they breath stinks so bad. I don't know what it is. And again, maybe this is just my personal experience or what, but when you talk to people and they live an alternative lifestyle, and it's not like a hungry breath, because it's a difference between like hungry breath and y'all crazy. It's a difference between somebody says, bro, how do you come up with that? Because I talked to them. And it's not like it's one thing to like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? You need some gum, or like you ain't ate today, you know what I'm saying? And your breath is stale. It's like a doo-doo type of thing. And maybe it's just the people that I had a conversation with, and it's like, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh, dog, you got to get that taken care of. You seriously got to. I don't know if it's a dental problem. I don't know if you was able to get insurance or what. That you got to get that taken care of. It's like, it's something in your stomach that you have to have removed. Is one thing to like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? You just a little tart today, or this ain't normal, you out of pocket or whatever, or you know what I'm saying? Like it's different types. But then when it's like that, it's another thing on there, and it's like, oh, that's a demon in there. It's a demon in there. It's a straight up demon in there. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Chase Barnes says the gay life. Classy says, is when do we have LGBTQ commissions? And then they got that mayor that they want over there too. Get out of Seattle as soon as possible. If there's ever going to be a meteorite to crash the earth, it's going to hit Seattle first. Chase Barnes says we're going to need welfare for trans now. Oh, hell no. And they doing it with taxpayer dollars. Wesley Turner says the country is being segmented into fractions. Facts. Chris Cunningham says, I don't like that they are using God's promise as their flag. I don't either. If you are not a part of the Patreon, I just dropped an important video for y'all to look at, especially with regard to networking. You got to go and check that out. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Manny Plays PC says, Transformers, people of yesteryear at least tried looking like a woman. These new wave Transformers just don't care. They be having neck beards and all kind of junk hanging around. Oh my gosh. Relationship Wednesdays is tonight. Relationship Wednesdays is tonight. Yeah. Let me see what time the Pancake House closed. Pancake House hours. I got a taste for a Big Apple. Four p.m. I got time. Teach me, baby. Relationship Wednesdays tonight. Get the Garden Dutch, baby. Yeah, that's slapping too. I got a taste for Big Apple. I do. I don't know if it's like the one in Portland, but I know that I know that it's they got one in Dallas that's pretty dope. All right, y'all. Listen, Relationship Wednesdays tonight. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. What do you want my topics to be? All right, before we get up out of here, OQDLLC says, switch up the topics in your Wednesday show. You'll get a better combo. What would you like for the topics to be? Let me tell you what the problem is for a Wednesday combo. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, there's a more consistent panel. And so I'm able to kind of anticipate what the feedback is going to be while testing out a couple things here and there. I can kind of anticipate what the feedback is going to be. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm trying to figure out what type of topics do y'all want for Relationship Wednesdays? We got to discuss why women feel the best they can give their husband is a retired 304. Money, hoes, clothes, a sensual topic, AD. Like the relationship thing, paying their bills before marriage. I'll throw it on the list. Paying their bills before marriage. How do you know a man is genuine? Yeah, we'll figure it out. Just don't make them just about relationships, being that it's different people. You'll get different perspectives from different people. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let me acknowledge one more Cash App. I want to shout out to Ray Sean. Says, abstinence is cool. They out here for real. That's a fact, big dog. Shout out to Ray Sean with the big dog. Big dog Cash App. Yeah. All right, y'all. I love you. Shout out to my dog, Ray Sean. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.